Race number 1 in the playoffs are in the book, and Paul Fly punched his ticket into the next round after winning at Texas Motor Speedway last week. Of course, race number 1 did not come without some late drama that many drivers talked about for days afterwards. Nick Galusha got loose off of turn 2, smacking the wall and then hitting the wall again in turn 3 before he was able to get to the apron. He then spins his truck and brings out the caution during a crucial time of green flag pit stops. But today, we are at the Superspeedway of Talladega, where the question is not if, but when the big one will happen and how many playoff drivers get involved. Welcome to the Countdown to Green show presented by John Bedlam and Game Day Rally Gear. Alongside me today is two-time winner in the series, Patrick Day, Miller Time Motorsports League owner Chris Miller, and now another two-time winner in the series, Paul Fly. Guys, welcome. Are you guys ready for the Superspeedway tonight?
No, I don't look forward to these Superspeedways. I approach them the same way every time. I ride out on the back until it's time to go. 20 laps left, maybe 15 laps in the race left, and I go to the front and see what happens. Hopefully the wreck doesn't happen at that point. Hopefully it happened before, right? But
yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. Congratulations, Paul. Lady Luck smiled on you last week, and get her right place, right time. Good strategy, good race. I spun very uncharacteristically spun first lap of that race, hit my truck in the nose and had to repair. But finishing third place is, that's a heck of a comeback for me. I'll take that any time that happens. So, looking forward to next week, actually.
I bet Chris is very much looking forward to tonight.
I'll tell you what, I actually am. I'm very excited for tonight. Talladega is actually my favorite race to run, so I'm excited. It's actually one of the tracks that, it happens in real life too, where there's a few drivers that probably aren't going to get a win at very many tracks, except for when they go to the Superspeedway. They seem to always roll off a decent finish or a good car for that track. And I feel good about tonight. I always do feel good about Talladega, but you never know when the big one's going to happen, and we just hope to stay out of it while we're out there. But congrats to Paul. I mean, being the first driver in the round of 8, clinched his way in there, and you have we'll see what's to come, obviously, but you don't have to worry about missing the melee here at Talladega, at least tonight.
Thank you from both of you. But yeah, that's actually kind of why I'm excited tonight. I don't got a care in the world what happens. I got about, I think, 4 or 5 teammates still out there that we got to push to the next round and see what happens there. But I'm excited for tonight. The first race, I had to worry about not wrecking because we only had a couple drops, or 1 drop week. So now it's, push and have some fun.
All right, so we look at Texas Motor Speedway and what we've seen there with Paul Fly getting the victory. We went 134 laps there. We've seen 8 cautions with 20 lead changes. Paul Fly gets the victory. He leads 56 laps there at Texas. Timmy Lewis's teammate comes in second. Right there in third, Patrick Day he only led 1 lap in that race. Like Patrick said early, that a spin on the very first turn, something that we just don't see out of Patrick, and he's able to rebound from it and finish third. Great job by him. Ryan Palmer had a great race. Was up front running some. He actually led 9 laps in this race. Comes home in 4, so a really good outing for Ryan Palmer. He was one of those drivers that maybe some of us thought, okay, he's probably a one and done in this playoffs. He's going to be here, but he won't see the round of 8. But hey, he comes home 4th if he continues that. And he won at Daytona. We got to remember that. He won at Daytona at a restrictor plate track. So, hey, if he wins here, he's setting himself up just perfect for the round of 8. 5th, Hunter Lagoons finishes in the 5th position. He was up front running some in that race too. He led 26 laps. Johnny Evans finishes in the 6th position. 7th, Logan Coe, good outing for him as well. Probably one of his better finishes of the season. Logan Coe there in the 7th position. 8th, Daniel Quigley, good run for him. Grant Clark, good run for him in the 9th position, cracking inside the top 10. And Michael Timmerman comes in the 10th position. On down through here, you got PJ Popham, 11th, 12th, Paul Negus, 13th, Steve Miller, Chris Miller, the 14th, 15th, Brent Butler, 16th, Nick Galusha, that we'll talk a little bit more about that. Austin Palmer, 17th, 18th, Derek Roffling, 19th, Colin Peterson, and 20th, Byron Gay, and another noteworthy one, 22nd, Sean Smith, being two drivers that are in the playoffs. They finished right there around that 20th position. That one stings a little bit for those drivers. So they're looking for a very good night here at Talladega. But hey, Paul got the win for the second time in the series. Now looking for a third win. And I would imagine you're probably thinking that probably is going to have to happen. If you're going to win a championship, you're going to have to at least have 3 in your pocket, maybe even 4 to win this championship. So you get this one out of the way. Now that it's out of the way, you got the win. Where are you going from here? I mean, you said you're going to help your teammates, but has your mind already shift over to the round of 8 and looked at those tracks and maybe doing some testing and tuning there?
No testing really. We'll hop in maybe the day before the race or the day of the race and hope for the best. That's usually what happens. Track record the past couple weeks minus the Texas win kind of proved that. Wrecked out a bunch, but moving forward from here, we're looking at just trying to build some more points. So I still got to gain probably 12 to 15 to get up to where near Patrick is for when he does advance, and things like that. So we're just looking to build some more points, lead a lap if we can lead a lap early or something like that. And then, if we can get a win, that's 3 extra bonus points, which can go a long, long ways. So maybe help, maybe not, maybe help myself. But we'll see what happens.
Sure, absolutely. So we look tonight here at Talladega. We said it when we opened the broadcast. It's not if the big one happens, but when the big one happens. Everyone knows that it's going to happen. It's a matter of being in the right spot at the right time. How do you know what the right spot is at the right time?
You guess. No, I mean, there's some guys that like to run up front. I'm not one of those guys because you usually get some hard chargers up there that are pushing aggressively or want to challenge you real tight on the outside, and it makes things uncomfortable. So I'd rather just be in the back, just riding around, be comfortable, have nice, decent gap, that I have time to react, but not a big enough gap that I lose the draft, right? So you got to play that gray area just right. But, so back where I am, where I usually sit, I can see kind of how the race is unfolding and then judge how I need to react, like at Daytona, right? So me and my team had gone in on one of the earlier cautions before we had the green flag pit stops. So we knew that the guys up in front of us had less fuel. So when we had about 10 to go until the pit stops are going to start, we decided to go up on the outside and push those guys and make sure that they were full throttling it out front, right? Maybe using up a little more of their gas and wouldn't get as good as gas mileage. That was the strategy we had towards the middle of that race. It worked out pretty decent. We wound up pitting with a big group of cars. And of course, inevitably you had the big one happen late in the race and it clicked in me a little bit. But, so that's kind of how we approach these big super speedway races.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Chris, how about you? I mean, you're good at these tracks. You're known to be good at these tracks. How do you know? How do you know when is the right time to go? Because ultimately, if you're going to hang out in the back, you've got to get past everybody else, which means how do you time that up where you're not involved in that big wreck?
I mean, much like Patrick, I'll run in the back with Patrick tonight, I'm sure a lot, and we'll be off just that front pack just enough, at least through probably 3/4 of the race anyhow. You'll get through that last pit stop, and then at that once you get through the last pit stop, you got to arrange yourself somewhere in the middle of the pack, but not where it's too crazy. I try to keep my car on the bottom line until I'm ready to go. If I can keep it on the bottom line, I always feel like I can always tail off the track if there is something going on. When you're up at the top, a lot of times you just get swept up in a mess. But once I'm ready to go, usually it's obviously less than 10 to go. If you're still right in that top 10 to 12 cars, and then 10 to go, you better hope that you have friends from earlier in the race and make the right moves at the right time.
Okay. So, Paul, for you, same thing is, are you one of those guys that's going to tail to the back, or are you guys up front?
It's going to be real interesting because it sounds like everybody's heading to the back. So
somebody has to be ahead of you.
Yeah, so it sounds like if you guys are heading to the back, we might be up front. Who knows? I would like to be in the back, kind of let everything play out because there, like you said, it's not if, it's when, and it's going to happen at some point, whether it's the white flag lap or even lap 50. You don't really know. So. We'll see what happens. We planned on being in the back, but after talking tonight, we might not.
Well, I tell you, I think as a broadcaster standpoint, I absolutely love calling these races. I like the restrictor plate. Daytona, Talladega, a lot of fun, a lot of close racing, side by side, just beating and banging. That's a lot of fun. For you guys,
not too much beating bagging.
Yeah, for you guys, it's not so much that way. You're like, oh man, just hold on to the end. I mean, you've made it all this way, clear to the end, and then the big one happens. And you got to be able to escape that to be able to find checker flag at the end. So it'll be a fun one. It's going to be exciting whenever we get to it, as the green flag will be waving here just shortly. It won't be long, and we'll be throwing that green flag around Talladega. For race number 2 of the 3 races for the round of 12, where we will branch off of that and go to the round of 8. So anything can happen. We'll go into the standings here in just a few minutes, but we do want to deep dive back into Texas, as we still got some things to hash out from that with Nick Galusha and that ordeal when we come back after this quick commercial break.
When it comes to heating and cooling, at John Betlam, we promise to take the utmost care. We'll make sure your repair's done right and any new installation is perfect. It's how we've done business since 1941. Our customers, you, are our priority. And when you need us, we're ready to help. It's our promise. So that's why there's something important that you should know. Did you know there are 2 heating and cooling companies here in Rochester that share a similar name? Betlam. And that's confusing. So make sure when you search for us online, you look for John Betlam. It's easy to confuse, so whenever you need us, be sure to search for and call John Betlam. Because it's my grandfather, John Betlam, who taught us to work hard, do a great job, and take care of all of our customers. And of course, there's only one phone number you'll ever need to remember.
Call 271-8888. John Betlam Heating and Cooling.
All right, welcome back. So we want to deep dive into the Nick Galusha incident that happened late in that Texas race, and I've got some video clips for you, and I took these video clips directly from our cameras and did not use the broadcast so that you didn't hear my voice over top of it, because I had an instant reaction whenever it happened, and probably the same reaction as most drivers. And so that's why it's been a hot topic for this race with Nick Galusha. We kind of play it back to Darlington. We seen kind of the same situation where we had seen Nick Galusha had spun, caution flag came out, preventing him from going a lap down. And then we see this at Texas, a caution flag late in this race, and just red flags came up, and it was just an instant reaction from me and probably instant reactions from the drivers. So we want to deep dive into this as we've had time to kind of digest it and think about what we've seen and what we've heard. So let's take a look at the first video. This is a TV1 cam shot, and then we also have an inboard shot of Nick Galusha. So let's take a look and just listen to the sounds here with TV1. Nick Galusha here coming out of exit 2. So, of course, during that time, caution flag never did wave. iRacing did not flag a caution there. And that's kind of typical. We've seen that a lot in iRacing, that it's not going to caution wouldn't fly. In real life, would the caution come out? Yes, it would probably. For debris, at very minimum, you're going to see that. So that's
Driver
the difference. Driver safety. Yeah, a lot of things there. So now let's take a look at the inboard camera, and this is the telling tale of why the caution eventually did come out. It was for the spin on the apron that finally happened. So let's take a look at the inboard car cam, and let's take a listen. High RPMs, loops it around. All right, so I want to go through the first TV1 camera, and I just want to kind of give my reactions to kind of what I've seen. One, whenever it first happened, again, instant reaction was, wow, that was probably deliberate, just because of how things was playing out on the racetrack. One, we had seen that a pit stop happened where Patrick Day came down, Hunter Lagoons came down, PJ Popham came down. These drivers came down, and it was a short pit here. They were getting fresh tires to maximize themselves on the racetrack, and it actually was probably going to be a winning strategy. They were quite a bit faster than the leaders, Paul Fly and Timmy Lewis. Just a lot faster. So the instant reaction was, wow, caution flag came out. Man, that totally changes the dynamic of the race. So taking a look at this, this is one thing I want to kind of go through, if I can bring the video back up again. As a race car driver, this is kind of how I probably would have played this situation, because iRacing did not call the caution. Here's how I would have done it. So taking a look here, I'll try to turn down the volume there a little bit so I can kind of talk over top of it. But here, you see that he gets loose, gets into the wall, smacks the wall. At this point in time, he's broke the steering in that thing. Two things could have happened. You could have just went down to the bottom, slowed way down, but maybe didn't know that that steering was broke, right? He may not have known fully that thing wasn't going to turn. Okay, that's fine. Once we hit up here, what I would have been as a driver, my thought process would have been, let's hit that wall, and let's just ride along that wall, and let's just stop along that wall. The problem with hitting the wall like that and then come across the traffic, I don't know who that was. Let's see who's coming by. Looks like Johnny Evans, actually a teammate. He actually could have took Johnny Evans out there, which would have been really bad, and I imagine the teams would have been pretty mad about that. So that's kind of my instant reaction on that. You know, what I'd seen, the biggest thing was the fact that it goes down on the apron, because he didn't get that caution. That probably should have came out, but it's iRacing, it's not real life, and we've all taken that, where if we would have had a caution, it would have dictated something different, and it just didn't happen, and iRacing didn't call it. Then comes down to the apron, revs the RPMs, just downshifts all the way down to first, and we know what happens when that happens. Truck spins around, and then that ended up causing the caution. Again, that changed the outcome of the race dramatically. But I want to get your reactions, Patrick, Chris, and then also you, Paul, because you're a teammate of his, on your reactions from these. So start with you, Patrick.
Yeah, he was screwed from the outset with that chain of events, as far as iRacing goes, because after he hit the wall coming out of 2 and damaged his vehicle, he was going straight, and he was doing, and I want to say he was doing like 109, 110 miles an hour. So iRacing considers that, okay, you're going slow, but you're still going, so I'm not going to throw the caution for that. His steering was so broke when he heard it hit the turn 3 wall. I mean, I hear you, stay up against the wall. I don't think he had the ability. I think once he hit that wall, it glanced him down off and forced him back down onto the apron where he had no steering. Now, if he would have come to a stop there, he'd have been off the track, and iRacing probably would not have thrown the caution for him there either. So I can see where he got frustrated and why he overread the engine and is like, man, this is not happening, right? He just got pissed, overread the engine when he downshifted, and what happened. The truth of it all, and what really could have happened, it should have happened, is caution should have come out. Caution should have happened anyway there, regardless of whether he spun it coming on the apron going into the pits or whether he stopped on the back stretcher in turn 3 and the caution came out like it should have. The caution should have come out in that situation regardless, right? So, I don't think Nick did it on purpose. I don't think he did it as a strategy. I think he was just pissed of the situation that was happening and, got a little hot-headed, and that's what happened, right? So,
and probably wasn't mindful of knowing what was happening on the track at that point in time. Because if green flag pit stops were not happening at that point in time, then okay, the severity of him doing that is not nearly as heightened as that.
right.
So yeah, Chris, go ahead.
And really, that's what it comes down to. I mean, you guys both kind of already covered it. We can say if he would have stayed on the track, if he would have stopped right at the bottom of the track or right slightly on the apron, would the caution have came out? We don't know. I mean, as a league, as admins, we don't throw any cautions ourselves. We strictly go off of iRacing rules. So, I understand him being upset, and ultimately, when we talked to him after the race, when we were talking about reviewing the incident, we had all kinds of people obviously hit us up for this, thinking that maybe it was done on purpose. And at the end of the day, when you go back and you look at Vegas, and we had Michael Timmerman's incident where he pitted from middle of the track and came down and tried to pit late and actually caused an incident that took out some of the guys that weren't potentially in position to win that race. Okay, I mean, it ruined the night of some drivers, and at the end of the day, Nick's race here, it didn't really, I don't want to say it didn't ruin anybody's night, but it didn't take anybody out. It did change the outcome, or we can say that it appears to have changed the outcome. We still had 24 laps to go at that point. That was on lap 110. Anything could have happened at that point. So
Sure.
it looked suspicious, but there was a lot of things that, at the end of the day, it really didn't cause that much harm, and it didn't ruin anybody's night. And I really don't think he did it on purpose. Once he had a damaged car, he was in fourth position, I think, at the time of the incident. So once he had a damaged car, yes, his night was over, but he was hoping for a caution at that point to minimize that damage that he was going to take while being in the pits. But that's my viewpoint on it. I don't think it was anything intentional. We worry about that when there's money involved in a championship and playoffs like our format, the way we're running it. But Nick's been with us for a long time. The Rat Bastards have been with us for a long time, and I just don't think anything was intentional.
I 100% agree with you on that. And one thing that before I get to you, Paul, and you talk about that is, you highlight a little bit there, Chris, is, when money's on the line, things change a little bit and how people drive or may get mad or whatever. But I just want to make sure that as a community of drivers, we all understand that drama is fine, right? But when we take that drama to another level where maybe it's harassing people or anything like that. I'd seen some posts on Facebook, social media, and the back and forth stuff. I'm one that, I would rather deal with something straight up with somebody versus going on social media, going on Discord and typing your stuff out, because I tell you, it's a completely different animal when you're on there and someone says something to you and you have all day to think about your response versus if you want to be straight up with me, let's talk right now and let's see your response, because you don't have time to think about it. And I would rather guys after the race go into each other's garage and talk it out. And if you can't settle it, so be it. Come back a week later after you've cooled down and get this thing settled, right? We'll continue to try to build the drama on my side for a broadcaster standpoint, for viewer standpoint. It's good for the broadcast, but you as drivers take care of it on the outside, because ultimately we do not want to lose this series to something like this, right? We lost Dirt Eye TV. I couldn't stand to do it anymore because of the bickering, the fighting, the community just became toxic. And I don't want that to happen on this side with these guys, because I think it's a great community, and that's why I ultimately jumped ship, right? It came from the dirt side, came over here, and we've had a really good time with it. But when money was on the line on the dirt side, this kind of stuff started to happen. I don't want to see it here. Or we could just entirely do away with money and say, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to have fun. We're just going to go out and race. So I just had to say that, because that just kind of brought some trigger points up when you talked about cash money and then the dirt side. And yeah. So, Paul, go ahead and talk about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything was intentional by any means. I mean, he was swearing up a storm when he hit the wall and swearing up some more when he spun out. Obviously, it kind of hurt him more than helped him, because me and him were tied going in to that race. And I'm not saying that gave me the win, because obviously still to earn it, there was still plenty of laps left for people to come up and pass me. So it's not like, I didn't luck into it completely. Still had to drive my butt off for, 20, 30 laps. So, yeah, nothing intentional. Sometimes he's just an idiot. It happens. He was clearly a little bit mad and didn't even think about the downshift when he revs the motor, and being on the banking on top of it. Once it shatters those rear tires, it kicks the truck right around, and especially with no steering, you have zero hope trying to save that. So in a sense, he was along for the ride, but yeah, I mean, definitely nothing intentional. Hope nobody thinks that. It kind of sucks when somebody comes at your integrity for that, because we've been here for 4 years now, even with stuff that wasn't broadcasted. We've loved this league. We love doing this every Wednesday night. We look forward to it while we're racing in real life, thinking, wow, can't wait to get to the off season to go to Miller time. So yeah, nothing intentional, not trying to destroy anything or anything like that. So yeah, just unfortunate circumstances at an unfortunate time.
Yeah,
and definitely not taking anything away from your win, Paul. You definitely earned that win. Yeah, you definitely earned that win.
Absolutely.
And the only way I think anybody else would have beaten you in that, the only situation I see that Hunter, PJ, or I had a chance of beating you and Timmy, right, was if that race were to stay green, right? That was the only way that our strategy would have played out for us to win that, right? If a caution would have happened any time later before you guys had to pit, it would have been the same finish, right?
Yep.
So you guys chose the right strategy. You had a little bit of luck, but yeah, you definitely earned that win. Don't take anything away from it.
Yeah, I mean, so I take this back to where I was just talking about social media and these posts. Okay, so we type online, we make our post, okay, and it may be a controversial post, right? And so now Chris is down there and he's reading it. He's just like stewing. He's like, how am I gonna? What do I want to say? I want it to be perfect. I want the perfect comeback on this, right? Well, iRacing, or just racing in general, when something like that happens, I'm sorry, but we can't hit the pause button and think about, what should I potentially do here, right? We have to act whenever it happens. And that's what I love about just communications right here. When we talk back and forth, it's our instant reaction. We don't have time to really say, hang on, let's pause this show. Let me think about my response, and then I'll come back to you on that. No, we respond right then and there. And the same thing happens on the racetrack. We respond. Sometimes it's in the right way. Sometimes it's not in the right way. I've been there. I've raced there. I've made mistakes on the racetrack. I've intentionally wrecked somebody before. Right, Chris? I mean, it just happens. It happens. We're all human. That's what it gets the best of us. So I don't think that Nick is a bad race car driver. I don't think anything differently about Nick. Again, it's racing. Things happen. And this just so happened, and it just looked really bad. But we're going to move on. The playoffs will continue to go. Nick will be there racing with us, and we'll see how things go. So back off of him a little bit if you're on his heels right now. So
yeah.
All right.
So what you just said about comebacks reminds me of of a conversation that I think Kyle Petty had with on Dirty Mo Media when he had an incident with somebody, a driver, and he talked to him right as they crashed there. Right, he went up to him, talked to him, was like, "What are you thinking? What And nothing. The guy didn't respond. He said nothing, so he slapped his visor closed and walked away. Right.
Yeah.
Well, the driver came back to him after the race. And he's like, "No, get out of here. You don't get to go away for 5 minutes and think about your comeback and then come back and talk to me.
Hey,
get out of here." Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Have you ever been put in that situation, Chris, where you've made a mistake in the heat of the moment, and if you would have been able to hit the pause button and make a better decision, it would have been better?
Nothing that I can remember. Yeah, right. I mean,
You're always in the back. That's why, right?
yeah.
I remember one of my first races with, and this is funny that he's my teammate, but with Miller Time, I think we were running the modifieds at Oxford, and I actually took out Grant Clark in turn one. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, because I don't race like that." I pride myself on no contact and being a real clean driver. And it was funny. It was one of my first races with Miller Time, and I took a driver out, but he got me back a later season at Myrtle Beach. So
it's so fun. It's so funny that when instances like that happen, especially for like if somebody that you've never known and you've never really raced around them, they come into the league and then maybe you get wrecked or something. It's not maybe the good things that they did during that race where they did pass you clean. You don't remember those things. You always remember what they did to you. Yeah. And so like I spin that back to like the dirt whenever I was racing and I was really competitive with Chris's dirt series. And we had what's Sean's last name? Sean Stevens. Yes, the Australian. He came in and he got into me. And I absolutely couldn't stand the guy, right, Chris? Like I said it, like, get this guy out of here. I can't stand him. And then, hey, 2 weeks go by and we're buddies. Like, we're racing at night together, and I don't mind him. But we always remember that one time they got into us, and then we think completely different of them. So, all right, guys. Anything else we need to talk about Texas before we do move on? Because we do need to move on to our picks for tonight here at Talladega. Anything?
No, I just think it was a good race. I mean, 8 cautions sounded like a lot to me. I didn't realize we had that many. But, I caused one on the first corner, right? So there we go. But no, I think it was a really good race overall. We had some green flag stops there and good hard racing. I just wish I had a little bit more time at the end there because I think I was as one of the best out there saving tires. So, but no, fun race. I'm actually looking forward to next week at Iowa, not tonight at Talladega.
I'd say a lot of drivers are that same way, except for Chris Miller. He's the only one that is excited for tonight.
You are right.
All right, so let's shift gears. Let's go over to the pick board and take a look at it. We did pick up some points last week, so let me bring up the points.
Yeah,
everyone did. Yes, everyone.
I should have gotten 2, right?
No.
Well, I thought he had somebody that finished. Did he not? Okay, maybe not.
No, he got a point for you for you finishing. You got a point from Timmy Lewis, and of course, I got a point for Patrick Day. So, points gap still stays the same: 13, 13, and 9. The big thing is, Chris, I think there is this broadcaster's curse because you had me last week pick who I would pick as a champion. You said I couldn't pick anybody that hasn't won, and here I pick Kyle Wellman, and he don't even show up, and we don't even know if he'll be here tonight.
We want to let him re-choose Chris again?
That's up to you, Patrick. I mean,
I'm fine with. I mean, if Kyle Wellman misses tonight, I mean, you pretty much write him out of the playoffs. I mean, unless he wins in Iowa, and I'm going to try to see that he doesn't.
So last week you said you had it narrowed down to 2 drivers. What were them 2 drivers? I think it was Kyle Wellman and PJ Popham.
It was. Yeah. So I think I'm shifting gears to go with PJ Popham now.
Yeah, he's been high on PJ all year, so I do not mind him switching to PJ here.
I mean, he took Ben Wert, dirt guy, and then went PJ Popham, dirt guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's right.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is, PJ's probably thinking, no, don't do it. Don't pick me because it's been just bad luck for these drivers. So,
Well, he's had some bad luck. I mean, he's been running really good this year.
He has. He has.
Just found himself into some unfortunate circumstances, like last week at Texas. So he was in line for a top 3 finish.
Yeah.
And just a little nudge, changed that whole aspect there.
Yeah, I ended up actually getting a message from PJ this week. He was thanking me about the coverage that we've been giving him on Tarmac Esports, because I mean, this is a guy that's came over from dirt and hasn't really ran any kind of asphalt, and I mean, he showed up. I mean, he's in the playoffs, and right now he's in the round of 8. So
he's got a decent little bit of cushion too. I mean, not a big cushion, but that's 7 points. So that's 7 spots over 2 races.
Right.
So
the big thing is he's got to get through tonight. That's going to be the big thing.
Right. Correct.
All right. So we're going to start our picks here, and we're going to start with you, Paul. You got picks too, and you got to deliver. We're going to start with your 3rd place pick. Who do you got here?
I'm gonna go with Timmy Lewis.
Timmy Lewis.
I think he'll be smart enough to ride around. He still needs to not be an idiot because it's 2 races and he's probably just fine on points. But if he wrecks out early, it's the bad one. So we're gonna be focusing on pushing him and Nick and Johnny and the rest of them and see what we can do. So if he's on my front bumper, he'll be going to the front. I can tell you that.
So you said he can't be an idiot because he hasn't got a win, basically. So my question for you is, can you be an idiot?
And absolutely. No, I don't want to be too bad because I still got to get some points too. So fingers crossed we make it to the end.
All right. Chris has us queued up. Patrick, what's he thinking there in that 3rd spot?
I'm thinking Chris is going to pick himself somewhere in the top 3. I just don't know if he sees how far up he sees himself. So I'm going to say he's going to push somebody to 1st place here. So I say he's going to say he's in 3rd place.
Okay.
Man, tell you what, Patrick, we ought to just have you tell us everybody's driver. But I do. I plan on being up there. I think there's going to be a lot of drivers that are going to be trying to stay safe and just avoid the big one. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to play it safe at the end. If I'm up there in that lead pack, winning Talladega to me is like winning a championship for these drivers. So I'm going to go push it as far as I can. My top 3 is very interesting. I'm going to be honest with you. And I think I'm going to be pushing somebody, that 1st place driver there, to the finish.
Cool. So unlike Patrick, Chris does pick himself, and rightfully so. It's a good track to pick himself at. Probably here in Daytona, it's the only time you're going to see Chris pick himself. And there he is. He's in the 3rd spot. All right, Chris, who does Patrick have here in his number 3 pick?
I think he's going to go with PJ Popham here. PJ's not going to have enough friends to push him to the end, but I think he can be pushing somebody, so I think he could potentially be in 3rd.
Yeah, I think PJ can finish well here. I didn't pick him for 3rd, but he can finish well here. He's a good driver. I went back and watched the race, Daytona, and he didn't really stick out to me enough to pick him. So. But yeah, he's got the potential. He just needs to be smart and be at the right place at the right time at the end. No, for 3rd place here, like I said, I went back and looked at Daytona, and this guy was running really well. Just got unlucky at the end. So Hunter Lagoon's 3rd place here. Really good drafter and pusher.
Okay. It's been a while since, like last week, he's finished inside the top 5. But you remember early in the season, like this guy was finished inside the top 3, and we was like, yeah, we could pick him. Seemed like when we started putting him up on the board, those top 3s started to fade away a little bit. Can Hunter Lagoons? Could be the broadcaster's curse.
Yeah.
And Hunter Lagoons be able to.
he did win Darlington, right? So
he has.
That's not too far ago. Wasn't too far long ago. So.
Yes, he has. Yeah. But we always said that when Hunter Lagoons wins, we would not have him winning, and that was the case. We did not have him. We did not have him as our top driver, even though he was. I mean, coming into the final round, he was definitely one of those that you probably would have said, yes, he has a great shot at doing it, but we never did put him there. All right, guys, who do I have here in my number 3 pick here at Talladega?
Well, Chris, I think he may pick who you said I might pick. So I'm going to say he's going to say PJ Popham here. It's going to be good enough to push somebody up there towards the win.
I'm going to say you took our Daytona winner, and you think he's going to have another good finish here at Talladega, Ryan Palmer.
Okay. Paul, I'm interested here. What do you think I have?
Good question. I'm going to go with PJ.
PJ. All right, so here in my number 3 spot, I actually, it's all going to make sense at the end. That's all I got to say. Number 3, going to go with you, Chris. Yeah, absolutely. It's hard not to pick you here because I've seen you race at these restrictor plates, and you are really good at these places. You know when to go, not when not to go. Like you just 3 spots. All right, Paul. Who do you have here in the number 2 spot?
I got Derek Rolfing.
Okay.
I think he's gonna have a good run. He's always sniffing around the front, and then something happens. So either he's gonna be caught up in the big one, or he's gonna be ahead of the big one.
Okay.
That's a good pick.
Good pick. Yeah.
Good pick. I like it. I like the pick because it's not his teammate. Like, hey, pretty cool.
I was thinking that he picked. Yeah, I was thinking that, he picked Timmy and throw. I was like, oh boy, here we go, all rat bastards. 1, 2, 3.
No, if we're all in the front, we're wrecking together. I already see it happening.
That's funny.
All right, Patrick. What does Chris have here in his number 2 spot? Can you go 2 for 2 here?
I really think that he might put, because I with what he's got in 3rd place here, see if my thinking is right with him. So I'm going to say in 2nd, he's going to say Derek Rolfing. Like Paul said, Derek Rolfing is going to have a good race tonight.
Good pick. No, actually here in 2nd place, I got a driver that has been extremely fast all season. Hasn't been able to put the finish there, was just on the outside of the playoffs looking in. Austin Palmer, I don't know who's going to be pushing him, but I almost put Byron up here because I think, Byron could be running with us. But I don't know who's pushing Austin, but he's going to come up 2nd.
Oh, no, see what you just said right there, because I was going to pick Byron for your 1st place pick here. So now I have to rethink it.
Yeah, Austin Palmer. Interesting.
Good pick.
Interesting.
Definitely has a talent.
Yeah. So I went into my my graphics there to see about Austin Palmer. Guess what? I had to make a graphic. He's never been up on the board. So Austin Palmer hits the board with 23. Good for him. And yes, he has been running very well. The problem is he has not been there at the end when it's mattered the most. Can he be there at the end? That's kind of another story for Derek Rolfing. There's a couple storylines for that. Those drivers that's ran well up front, but just hasn't been there at the end. Can Austin Palmer get it done tonight? All right, number 2 spot for Patrick. Chris, what's he got?
He's going to go Johnny Evans.
I will tell you this. No, it's not Johnny. And I will tell you this for a hint for my 1st place pick, Chris. I didn't pick any rat bastards in the top 3.
Woo!
So, no offense, Paul.
We finished 1-2 at Daytona, so it's okay.
You did. But I think that was an anomaly. We'll see, though. No, actually, here, This guy's been running good. He ran really well at Daytona, and just got unlucky, right? So this race is going to all come down to luck anyway. So I'm going to go with the guys that I saw running good at Daytona when I reviewed it, and I see Brent Butler finishing second here.
Good pick. Brent Butler. Brent Butler was one of those guys that Derek Rothling was very high on when we had him on the last show. He said that he was one that you shouldn't sleep on, that he could potentially win this championship. Well, he's going to need it. He's going to need a win probably. I mean, he can still get in on points, but right now he's sitting 10th in the points right now. And a good finish here will go a long ways to trying to push himself into the round of 8. So we'll see what that 76 is able to do. All right, number 2 spot for me. What do I got, guys?
Well, if you think Chris is going to be there, I think you see him pushing Byron. But I think you see him pushing Byron in first. So I'm going to say, you're going to say Derek Rothling here in second. I think you see that he's done good on speedways here.
Okay.
I think Patrick was on to something with Byron. I'm going to go with him.
Going Byron there at second, okay. And Paul, what do you think?
I think you got Wellman there. You picked him last week. He didn't show up. Who knows? He's 50-50, it sounds like, by what you said earlier. But if that 50% he's there comes through, obviously he needs a good run. So,
all right, so my number 2 spot here, I'm going to go with Derek Rothling. Yes, the 88 is going to be up there and is going to come up short once again. Will not get the victory that he's been so much searching for this season. I predict Derek Rothling, unfortunately. I'm going to say it right now. Maybe the curse will be flipped the other way. And we'll call it out. The 88 will not see a victory this season.
But you know what? The way his season has been, he'd be happy with that finish.
Absolutely. All right. Moving on to the winner. And potentially, if it's not Paul, somebody else is going to clinch themselves into the round of 8. Paul, who you got?
I had Derek Rothling in second, but I got him pushing Chris Miller to the freaking victory here.
I love it, Paul. I love it. I hope so.
That would be pretty sweet.
That would be sweet. Yeah, that would be sweet.
That'd be awesome.
That would be really cool. That would be the highlight of Chris's year. Don't care about a championship.
Decade. That'd be the highlight of Chris's decade.
It would. It'd be the highlight of Miller time for sure.
Let me ask you this, Chris. When was the last time you've won a race in Miller Time Motorsports League?
Oh, I don't know. I won one of these, but I don't know if it was like one of our summer leagues or what it might have been. It wasn't in our Superspeedway league, I don't think. I just looked at that today. I don't know. I definitely had maybe a B main in one of the dirt track races.
All right, B main. Yeah. Okay. So this would be monumental if he would win.
It would be.
This is huge. This is like Steve Miller winning. So
That's rough.
that is pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I don't think Steve Miller's ever won anything. I could be wrong. I'm sorry, Steve, but I don't think you've won anything other than a football game. All right. Patrick, what does Chris have here? What's he thinking his number 1 driver is tonight?
Well, like I said before, I was thinking that he was going to say Byron Gay. He was going to push Byron Gay through here and help him in the championship, but he said he doesn't see it that way. So, I'm going to say Hunter Lagoons.
Hunter Lagoons.
Well, good pick. No, I mean, I hope it's exactly what Paul said. I hope Derek's pushing me, but I see myself pushing Derek. We usually try to team up. We work well together on these super speedways a lot of times. So I think we're going to get the monkey off of Derek's back right now in the playoffs and heading into next season. He might be something to reckon with.
That's a good pick. And you know what's funny? He was on the tip of my tongue too, but I didn't choose that one. Good pick. I hope to see that. It'd be fun to see Derek win it.
All right. So the 88 getting the victory. Now the question comes down to Patrick. What does he have here? Both these guys have been pretty good at picking. Chris and Patrick both tied at 13 in points. So they know their stuff. What does Patrick think here?
Man, they said no rat bastards, so, does he have PJ here? Does he have Byron? He doesn't pick himself. I could definitely see Wellman if he was here, but I'm gonna go with Byron.
We good, Ryan?
Yep, good.
Okay. I saw a hiccup there in the stream. So, good pick. Good pick. No, I didn't go with Byron. I see the same guy winning as you do, Chris, but I see Brent Butler pushing him across the line instead of you. Sorry. But I think they're going to work well together.
That could very well happen.
I think Derek's going to get his monkey off his back tonight and hopefully keep Lady Luck in his pocket and use it at the right time and bring some of the checker.
88 getting the victory. All right. That's going to be big time for Derek Rothling if he gets it done. I think it does, like Chris says, you get that monkey off your back and know that you can win. Whether it's a super speedway or not, you get that win. Huge confidence booster. Could really help him the rest of the way through this series. Although he's not in the playoffs, it could really set himself up for, season 3, what it looks like for him.
Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Guys, y'all get to pick here. What do I have here? Number 1 pick tonight.
Well, I'm going to stick with what I had said previously. I think you're going to see Chris Miller pushing Byron Gay across the finish line here in first place.
Okay.
With what you got here, 1, 2, 3, I think it's either Byron or Brent, but it's a possibility that he's right there in our pack too, but I'm going to go with Byron.
Okay.
We minds think alike because I was about to say Byron myself as well.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Byron would definitely need it. I mean, that would be huge. He's sitting 7th right now. I mean, he's getting close to that bubble and not getting in. Had a bad race last week. He finished, 20th? So, yeah, a win would be... Byron Gay in my number 1 spot. I've already said that once before. It's like, wow. Could I potentially pick him? I mean, I don't even hardly know that I've picked him inside my top 3, so it'd be really hard. A really good candidate here would be Kyle Wellman. Like Paul said here, Derek Rothling and Kyle Wellman, they work very well together, so I could have potentially picked Kyle Wellman here. Problem is, I don't know if Kyle Wellman's going to be here or not, so it's really hard for me to say, yep, I'm going to pick him for my number 1 spot. If he was here, I could potentially see it. I just don't know, and I can't trust it. So I do have to go with, you guys are right, I'm going to go with Byron Gay in the 11 to get the win and advance into the round of 8. And guys, I'm taking this pick because, one, I just say this right now, it's knock on wood, I hope that it didn't get the broadcast curse and he gets involved in the big one. I hope that doesn't happen for him because that seems to happen a lot. Whenever I pull him in and talk to him, something would happen immediately after. Hopefully that's not the case. But the 11 machine of Byron Gay has been something completely different than the normal Byron Gay that we're used to in past seasons. Past seasons, I would not even think about putting him here at all. But he is a completely different driver than he was just last season. This season seems just a more focused. He's wanting a little bit more. And so I think the 11 gets a win in the Tarmac Esports Truck Series and advances to the round of 8. That's crazy for me to say. He advances to the round of 8. If we would have said that day 1, episode 1 of the Tarmac Esports season 2 and said Byron Gay advances to the round of 8, you guys would have said you are smoking something, right?
Yep, absolutely. But you know what? He's mostly been keeping his truck clean this whole season, and that's been playing huge dividends for him.
Which is not the same Byron that we're used to. Byron is normally the truck that's completely beat up. His is probably the truck that you walk down the garage and is the most tore up out of all the trucks out there. But not this year.
But,
not this
right,
year.
But you know, he's probably got in the back of his mind, hey, we don't have any fast repairs to you know, get me back up and running in the field. So you do have to be somewhat careful out there with your racing.
Yeah. And maybe that's just what it took. Take the fast repair off. Be more cautious, and you race better. Well, maybe that has sunk into him, and maybe, just maybe, that has changed his whole dynamic of racing. If you just put that in the back of your head and say, you know what, if I wreck, I don't have anything. I don't have that blanket over me that says, hey, I'm good. I can just do a repair and go back out there. Now things are real. So I've got the 11 with the win. I've got the 88 of Derek Rothling second, and I've got Chris Miller in the third spot. I'm going 1, 2, 3 for Miller Time Motorsports. Let's get it done, Chris. It'd be awesome to see if we could go 1, 2, 3. Whenever I think 1, 2, 3 like that at a restrictor plate, I remember back in the day when I believe it was Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, and like Ricky Cravens or somebody like that. It was 3 drivers with that crew.
Yeah,
That's what I see here. I see Byron Gay getting the win. All right, it's going to be fun. It's time to go. Green flag racing at Talladega for race number 2 in the playoffs. What's going to happen tonight? Whatever happens tonight, we may be talking on our next episode of some more drama. Don't put anything out. It's the playoffs. That's what's going to happen. And it's green flag time here at Talladega. We'll see you all on the track.
see you guys on the track.
Rookie or veteran, no matter how long you've been coming to this event, there are butterflies. There have to be.
The biggest race of your career, one of the biggest races in the world. I guarantee you there's a lot of butterflies.
The white flag in the Daytona 500. It's time to get busy. Horrific crash on the final lap of the Daytona 500.
A second time, the Daytona 500 goes to Jimmy Johnson.
I don't mind. You just won the 500.
Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500. Denny Hamlin wins his second Daytona 500 and wins it. Coach Gibbs.
What does it mean to be official? To earn the badge as a trusted source, a symbol of quality and pride. For 95 years, Craftsman Tools has been the backbone for those who build, for those who innovate, for those who pursue goals greater than themselves. To be the official tool of NASCAR is to represent the best of what's possible. For the teams, for the sport, for the future.
Oh, that's a problem.
Put on the brake, wheels to the left. Go, 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 go.
Oh, no.
Be aggressive, everything.
Checkered flag is in the air, and he has done it.
And that future? Well, it's back to where we started. The NASCAR Truck Series. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series returns in 2023. We build pride. One turn, one lap, one race at a time.
Good evening, race fans. We are on to race number 2 of the round of 12 in the Tarmac Esports Truck Series, and we're at Talladega Superspeedway. It's going to be a fun one. This one is brought to you by John Betlam Heating and Cooling and also Game Day Rally Gear. And I will be your host. I will have the call all race long. My name is Ryan Griffith, and I tell you what, these playoffs continue to be more and more intense as drama continues to build around the racetrack. Last week, you heard it all. Nick Galusha was very much in the spotlight, and what will the spotlight look like tonight for some of these drivers as they're getting set for qualifying right now, as that is what's going on right now. Qualifying is taking place here around this huge, massive track of Talladega Superspeedway. You take a look at the points, and we talked about it in the Countdown to Green show. Paul Fly gets the victory, and now he has locked himself in to the round of 8. So if you've got a favorite driver on that board right now that's in the round of 12, you hope that they're inside that top 8 after next week. And the big question for a lot of these drivers is, how do I escape this place, Talladega, where sometimes it's a track that, well, you look at it and you say, maybe this is more of just a luck track. You just got to make it towards the end. A lot of these drivers are hoping that is the case, as Paul Fly does not have to really worry about that, as he's got the win, so he can kind of go out there, kind of relax and help his team get into the round of 8. Qualifying, we'll keep an eye on that as the times come in. Currently, right now, Derek Roffling is on top of the leaderboard right now. You got Timmy Lewis second and Kyle Smith third, Logan Coe fourth, and Nick Galusha right now is your top 5. And as we get more of these times coming in, we've got several cars in the pits tonight. So it's going to be a fun one. Also, Kyle Wellman is in the house tonight. We missed him last week, and interesting. Being in the first race of the playoffs, you would have thought everyone was there. Kyle Wellman, a no-show, so he is kind of struggling a little bit right now as far as points. If you take a look at that, the points, he is dead last because he missed last week. So he's got to make up some ground, either a really good points night or a win. But I tell you, if you don't finish well here and you go into Iowa next week, your chances are very slim to make it in on points. You're pretty much going to have to guarantee a win. Man, that's really hard to do, especially with Kyle Wellman has not got a victory yet this season. And so if he's trying to buy himself in on a win, man, that would be the last thing I would be thinking about here at either one of these tracks, Talladega or Iowa. As we speak, Kyle Wellman turns quick time out there at a 54.640, just topping Johnny Evans at the line. See Byron Gay there in the 6th position. So we're getting you set to go green flag racing here in just a few moments. We'll be right back in about 30 seconds.
My truck isn't something you want to see in your rearview mirror.
My truck is a 3,400-pound precision-guided sledgehammer.
I guess you could say my truck likes to take the path less traveled.
My truck never gets claustrophobic in tight spaces.
My truck doesn't haul tools, but hardware, that's a different story.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Tough trucks, tough racing.
All right, welcome back. Qualifying has concluded. Kyle Wellman is going to be your fast qualifier tonight, and he will sit on the pole here at Talladega. We've got 100 laps around this place. It's a long race. 266 miles will be the distance. With Kyle Wellman going to lead the field to green flag when it's outside, you're going to have Johnny Evans. Michael Timmerman with one of his best qualifying starts of the year. And at 17, he'll roll off on the 3rd position. 4th will be Derek Roffling, then Colin Peterson. Byron Gay, Timmy Lewis, Kyle Smith, Paul Fly, and Frank Klein will be the top 10. Then it goes Daniel Quigley, Logan Coe, Nick Galusha, Bobby Smith, Sean Smith, Ryan Palmer, Patrick Day, Paul Negus, Tanner Marr back in here in the 4 machine, and PJ Popham in the 20. That rounds out the top 20 there. as we are getting set to go green flag here. Big talk on the talk of the town, we should say. The big talk was Nick Galusha last week, and Nick Galusha back in action tonight. Nick, what is it like to come back after having all of the attention on you after a late race? How do you take all that and, cancel out all that noise and go out here and run your race?
Yeah, I'm just gonna... I don't know if I'm gonna be aggressive on the start, but I'll be up front at the end.
Okay, so the big question is, we've said it in the Countdown to Green show, there's going to be a big one. The question is, when it's going to happen? And the question is for you, how do you miss it?
Yeah, that's I think I'm gonna play out the first few laps here, kind of see how everybody is driving early, and then kind of play it by there. I'm just hoping to not run into the big one and be near it, because usually when you're going in the corners and they're wrecking, there's not much space to drive out of that.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that 20 machine. Good luck to you tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that was Nick Galusha in the 20 machine. We said that he had a lot of controversy after his spin last week during crucial pit stops, and so now he's back in this one and looking for a solid night. And another guy that is looking for a solid night is going to be the 11 machine of Byron Gay. He's going to roll off into 6th position tonight. Byron, we've talked to these guys. We know that the big one's coming. How are you going to keep away from that big one? Is your plan to stay out front, or are we dropping to the back early on?
I got some plans here of trying to get a lap early and going back, but honestly, it's just going to be what we decide here with the team. Derek's taking the lead on that, so kind of just following what he wants me to do and trying to get as good of a position to end the race tonight as I can.
It's what it takes. Teamwork makes the dream work, and we'll see how that 11 performs tonight. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
All right, Johnny Evans there on the outside of row number 1, and we'll see if we can dial up Johnny Evans here. Johnny, you're on the outside of row number 1 here. We've talked in Countdown to Green shows, and I think it might have been Derek was the last one that stated it, that you're one of those guys that either you're going to go for it and you're going to be up there and win it, or you're not. And so the question is, we've got this big Talladega track, and we know that the big one's coming. How do you escape the big one? Does it take being up front, or can you be in the back and miss it?
It really depends on where it is, because it could start in the front, everybody could get involved, or it could be in the back and everybody in the front misses it. It just depends on where it is.
Well, the 14 machine's been strong this year. Can he pick up the victory this evening and advance himself into the round of 8? We'll keep an eye on the 14. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to dial up here. I'm sorry, we're going to dial up the 94 of Paul Fly. He was on our show with Countdown to Green. Hey, you're got yourself a good qualifying position here. You're in the 9th position early on. Teammates a little bit around you here, which, your team is part of most of this field. What is the talks right now? Is it up front, or are we going to the back?
I think we're still undecided, to be honest with you. We got some of us that are going to kind of just hang out up front. Some of us are probably going to hang out in the back. I know I'm riding kind of where I am for now. It's no point to really push the issue at all. We got 100 laps. It's going to take a while to get around here. So, yeah, I think there's going to be half of us up front and then half of us hanging out in the back and see how things shake out at the end.
All right, we'll see how this all plays out. It should be interesting. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That was Paul Fly there in the 94. We had him on the pre-race show. As you see, the cars, the trucks are under fire, and that means we're going to be going green flag as they come around the front stretch here momentarily. We got Hunter
What the track
Lagoons
is
that has performed very well this season, and you're looking really good to try to make a push towards the round of 8. Thing is, we got to get through Talladega. Are you nervous about it, and what's it going to take to miss the big one?
Dude, I'm just gonna send it. I really don't care, honestly. You know, it is what it is. If we wreck, oh well. We'll try to stick around for the end, but I'll be honest, I'm just gonna send it. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, it should be fun to watch. You just send it. As some of these drivers, it's going to be fun to watch. All right, good luck to you. You heard it from Hunter Lagoons. He's just going to send it. I mean, very bold statement out there. You got some, it's like, you're going to be a little cautious. Hunter Lagoons, he's going to send it. If I talked to Chris Miller, I'd say he would say the same thing. I'm going to send it, but he's going to send it later on. He's going to be smart. He's going to play it back here in the back and just ride around, because we've got 100 laps around this place, and it's a long one here. You look at the facts, the track facts, the race facts presented by Game Day Rally Gear. You got 100 laps. That's 266 miles, a pit road speed limit of 55 miles per hour. That fuel window, 32 to 34 laps. And the weather today, mostly cloudy, 68 degrees. It's going to be interesting. The iRacing pace car lights are out, and it's entering pit road. We're ready to go green flag here in the Geico restart zone. It'll be on the command of that 42. As you know, here at Talladega, the stripe line, the finish line, is after the tri-oval, as we are now green flag. Smooth right now. Everyone deciding that they're going to take it 2 wide. As many of you know, it's very easy to go 3 wide here, and I will predict that will happen towards the end of this race, but not so early in this one. As see Kyle Wellman jumps to the outside to grab the 88 of Derek Rothling. Those two work very, very well together at Restrictor Plate Racing. So you got a 42, the 88, and the 11 that we know for sure is going to work together, and that's what they do. And wow, Derek Rothling just barely clears the 14. And so the Kyle Wellman and the 88 go 1-2 up front here with Johnny Evans in third. He's going to look to the outside now, and he's going to have the help of the 11. You can see Kyle Wellman is going to dip off and decide to drop to the back after he found out that they're able to make that move early in this race. Got Logan Coe here running in the 7th position. He's up 5 spots in the start of the green flag, so he's on the move here. Same with Bobby Smith in the 8. He's on the move as well. Those guys are up 5 and 6 spots in this race. Frank Klein on the heels, the 11 machine right now, and Frank Klein kind of peeking his nose underneath Byron Gay there and tucks it back in. Johnny Evans maybe having a little bit of issues there with blinking in and out, and Byron Gay's going to drop to the inside, not liking what he's seeing there with Johnny Evans blinking in and out. You can see on back in here, you can see how things are really singled themselves out back here. I mean, these guys are not worried about racing one bit back here in the back. They're all single file back here. Hunter Lagoons back here. Patrick Day is back here. Paul Negus, Grant Clark, Steve Miller, and Chris Miller. All of them back here in the back of the pack. Back up front, you still got Derek Rothling leading the way. Johnny Evans there on the outside. Michael Timmerman there on the inside in that 17 machine. Not used to seeing his truck up front this year. And here we are to Restrictor Plate, and different drivers appear to be up front. Big single file down on the bottom side. Now Frank Klein has no help on the outside. Is he going to be able to try to squeeze his way into the inside lane? He's going to have to find a gap because right now nobody's on the outside. It's single file on the bottom. And they have decided they're going to ride around here in this one. Now Johnny Evans jumps to the outside. Frank Klein will tag on to that. So a lot of these drivers that you see up front right now, will they still be up here late in the race? A lot of times you don't see that happen as some of these guys towards the back emerge. But there you go. You got Nick Galusha jumping to the outside. We're about to go 3 wide here. He's wanting to take Paul Fly with him. And Kyle Smith back there. This is going to try to put it 3 wide. And that's what they're going to do through the tri-oval here. Frank Klein wanting him to come down. Not going to happen. Frank Klein is sandwiched in the middle. He's going to go backwards. A lot easier to go 3 wide around a place like Talladega. It's so much wider. And then a place like Daytona, a little bit harder to do. Right now, Frank Klein has no friends. He's in the middle and no help. All right, those 3 have escaped Frank Klein there, so he was able to tuck in behind him, and PJ Popham's going to follow in on that outside line. So that's a 5 car on the outside as you get the inside lane, but you got Timmy Lewis going to come and tail in on the 2. Following behind him is going to be Ryan Palmer, getting a little bit of wind there on the top. So good, clean, 2 wide racing right now. As you see, Nick Galusha charges to the front. Paul Fly as well. The outside lane there. Big pushes by the 45, right on the heels of the 94. 94 got the win last week, so he has locked himself in. Here comes the 33, going to try to punch himself in the middle, and he backs off of it. He wasn't going to have any help if he did it. Sure, the thought process there, he's already proven that no one wants to go with him. And now you see Nick Galusha is going to drop off here. So Nick Galusha got himself to lead a lap and then decides he's going to drop to the back. Paul Fly going to try to get himself a lap led here as long as he can hold off the 45. He's going to here coming through the tri-oval. So still single file on back through here with Sean Smith, Kyle Wellman, Tanner Marr, Daniel Quigley, Hunter Lagoons, Patrick Day back here, Paul Negus, Grant Clark, and Steve Miller, and Chris Miller. Nothing has changed back here. These guys are running a different race than what the front of the pack's doing right now. They're being very cautious. PJ Popham now second car on the outside lane, and you got the 11 of Byron Gay that's going to come and support the 2. Kyle Smith leading the way, looking to lead a lap here. Byron Gay maybe giving a signal there for the 2 to jump to the outside. You can see he was out there, out towards the wall. As seeing if Byron's wanting to push the 2 past the 33. We're going to need a couple more trucks if that's going to happen. As you can see, Logan Coe coming into the picture. Colin Peterson. Top outside lane, Foreman. You can see the 88 came out to the outside. He's going to pick up the 11 of Byron Gay. Byron Gay, this is teamwork right here. You got the 88, the 11, the 98, and the 13 all working together. That is a team in itself. So that all shook things up as they got themselves all together. Where will they go now? Kyle Smith still leading the way. You got Johnny Evans in second. Michael Timmerman in the third position. And Bobby Smith running in the fourth position. Frank Klein there in the fifth position. EJ Popham had a run on the 33. Jumped to the outside. 88 not wanting to go with him. The 11 not wanting to go with him. Nobody's going to go with him. The 2 of PJ Popham reminds you of Kyle Wellman last year that did not have any friends and struggled at restrictor plates because of it. And that is the case right now. Not a whole lot of friends in the truck series. And have to gain that trust of the rest of the truck drivers. Get a little bit more friendly. So the front 5 cars are on the inside, and then you're forming another lane on the outside with leader of that one's going to be the 88 of Derek Rothling. I'm not going to say that this race has not been, I'm not sure there, the 33 not watching where he's going up into the next lane, about took the 13 out. But I'm not going to say that this race hasn't been intense yet, or that they've just been kind of relaxing back there. I mean, they've been drafting pretty hard, right on each other's bumpers. Seeing what these trucks are able to do. You can see Byron just pushing the crap out of the 88's back bumper, as that did get the 88 out front to lead another lap here. 88 all over the back end of the 88. Pushing. Kyle Smith going to drop down. We got a 3-wide race here. You got Frank Klein that's going to the outside, and I believe that's Kyle Smith or Kyle Wellman on the outside. It's about to get 3 wide. Things are starting to get a little bit hairy here. There's some shifting going on up front. Frank Klein to the front. You got Byron Gay sandwiched in the middle with his teammates. Frank Klein. Now you look at that move by Kyle Wellman to the inside. Kyle Wellman to the front. And will he lead that lap? He will. Oh, he will just be beaten by Derek Rothling on that lap. But what a move by Kyle Wellman there on the inside. Made a move on the 33 of Frank Klein. He used Frank Klein on the outside and then ditched him when he needed to. Now you got Timmy Lewis that's on the back end of Frank Klein, and that breaks up. Got Ryan Palmer back there coming back into the picture. Ryan Palmer was the winner of our last restrictor plate race at Daytona. Very first race of the season, and he's starting to come into the picture here to be a little racy here. 3 wide with Frank Klein on the outside. That is a good matchup right now up front. You got Derek, and do they hold on to it?
All right, man.
They will not.
Caution is out.
There is a caution flag out on the speedway, our first one of the day. It's going to involve several drivers here. as we are under caution flag. We're going to have Kyle Smith, Tanner Moore, Michael Timmerman, Paul Fly, Bobby Smith involved in the accident. You started to see Johnny Evans go around there, but I don't think he ever did. We'll take a look at it. We will have to back that thing up just a little bit longer for iRacing to give us what happened there. Here's your full picture. Like the 13 came down on the 14. Try to get an inboard camera on the 13. We will rewind this back just a little bit for you so that you can get a better grasp of what happens here. I think he was trying to get in behind his teammate there, and then he wasn't quite clear. Take a look at we will take a look at the chase cam if we can. Here's our drone shot behind the 13. This is a good shot for us. He just thought that he was clear, I'm going to guess. Colin Peterson there, and he wasn't. We're going to go on board with Paul Fly here. See the wreck happening, goes to the bottom side, then everything starts stacking up, misses the 17. Oh, and hits Timmy Lewis. Nick Galusha. Track just about gets blocked by these guys. Great job by the rest of these drivers back here to whoa up, slow up, get things organized. So we're under caution for the first time today on lap 17. Now things will have to restart, restack. We'll be right back here at Talladega.
When it comes to heating and cooling, at John Betlam, we promise to take the utmost care. We'll make sure your repair is done right and any new installation is perfect. It's how we've done business since 1941. Our customers, you, are our priority. And when you need us, we're ready to help. It's our promise. So that's why there's something important that you should know. Did you know there are 2 heating and cooling companies here in Rochester that share a similar name? Betlam. And that's confusing. So make sure when you search for us online, you look for John Betlam. It's easy to confuse, so whenever you need us, be sure to search for and call John Betlam. Because it's my grandfather, John Betlam, who taught us to work hard, do a great job, and take care of all of our customers. And of course, there's only one phone number you'll ever need to remember.
Call 271-8888. John Betlam Heating and Cooling.
All right, welcome back to Talladega under caution for the first time today. Involved with Colin Peterson getting down to the bottom side of Johnny Evans. He goes around, stacks things up behind him, and around they go. So we're under caution for the first time today, and we did see some pit stops there under caution. Derek Roffling is going to come out with the race lead. 19 laps in of 100 laps. Still a lot to go in this one. good stretch of green flag run there, and you see the 13 and the 14 got together. That was what caused our caution flag. As we see that most everyone has came down to service. Here is your biggest movers of this race so far. Patrick Day, they're in the 7th position, up 10 spots. You got Grant Clark up 10 spots, and Chris Miller up 11 spots in this one. The one that's lost the most right there, Michael Timmerman, in that last wreck involved, and he is scored in the 24th position. Lights are out on the iRacing pace car. We're going to go green flag this time on the command of the 88 in the Geico restart zone.
Green, green, green. All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
And that didn't take too long. Right off the get-go, we have a caution flag out in the speedway. Let's take a look at it. All looked clear from Ryan Palmer's view. Right there she is. Let's take a look at it, if we can. It's turned, and I believe... Another look at that. There it is. So it looks like to me it was off fly that got in the back of him. Because it does look like he was blinking in and out. And I think that's what happened. But I cannot be 100% certain because things did blink out there on us. Yeah, there it is. And we'll take this back here so that you guys can see it. Boom, he appears. It's the crazy thing about iRacing, being online. You got guys that be blinking in and out, and that's just unfortunate for, of course, Hunter Lagoons being a guy in the playoffs. Having some issues here early. Still early in the race, so anything can happen, but you take a look at the points and where these drivers are. So Hunter Lagoons right now at 1069, and so really sitting in a good position. But if you come out of this place with a bad finish, you're looking like you're probably right there on the bubble going into Iowa. And Hunter said that he's going to send it today, and probably not the way he thought he was going to send it into the infield there. So caution flag number 2 right off of the restart. So Chris Miller and Steve Miller currently running in the 5th position right now. We're gonna actually dial up the O2 of Steve Miller. Is the O2 not used to being in this position this early in? But Steve, you're currently running in the 6th position right now. Are you gonna stay there right now, or are you deciding, you know what, this is too much for me right now? We'll go to the back.
I'm probably going to be heading to the back. I currently have a black flag that I have to attend to, so I don't know. That's where I'm at right now.
Okay, well, Steve, whenever you get there and serve that black flag, make sure you grab that extra cold one in there while you're at it.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, and so we'll dial up his brother Chris Miller here, and hey, we just talked to your brother in the O2s, asked him what he was going to do, if he was going to stay up here. Fortunately, he's going to have to serve a penalty flag, and said that he's going to grab a cold one while he's in there. What's your thoughts here, being inside the top 5? We're going to stay up here, or we're going to go to the back?
I probably won't directly go to the back, but I don't want to be up here very long. It's way too early. I'm kind of cycled through. I probably should have topped off on fuel there, but wasn't thinking about it right before. But we're good to go here for a little bit.
It's going to be fun. It's been a little bit dicey at times up front, and so it's kind of surprising, but it's been some pretty clean racing so far in this one. Good luck to you in the 69.
Thank you.
There you go. The O2 has to serve a penalty here, so at some point in time, he's going to have to get off that top side and make his way down pit road. Daniel Quigley running inside the top 10 right now. I tell you what, we have not talked to Daniel Quigley much this season, but Daniel Quigley running inside the top 10 right now, having a good run, but still early in this race. What's it going to take to have that 18 truck up front at the end of this one?
Yeah, right now we're just trying to keep the trucks clean. We're trying to stay together in our team, and yeah, we're just trying to stay out of trouble and save gas right now.
Well, good luck to you. We hope to see that 18 up front late in this one.
Thank you, Ryan. Me too.
Daniel Quigley in the 18. Get ready, boys. We're about to go green flag once again with the iRacing pace car. Lights are out. Let's talk the 18 there in the iRacing paint scheme. His teammate being of Paul Negus there. They also got Grant Clark and Patrick Day. And they are wanting to try to stick together. That is the goal right now. Stick together.
Green flag, green flag.
You also got teammates down here on the inside lane. That's the 88, the 11, and the 69. Really disorganized on that start. They'll have to form back up here. Frank Klein will separate the gap between the 11 and the 69. The first car on the outside lane is now going to be Frank Klein. I was about to say that it was going to be Johnny Evans. Frank Klein jumps out to the outside. '88 and the 13, their teammates working together. 13 made a boo-boo early in this one, coming down across the nose of the 14, but all saved it and was able to maintain kind of their positions up here and still running okay right now. Frank Klein's been pretty racy up front right now. Racing up front here with the best of them in the 33. You can see just single file all the way back towards the back of this pack. And it's single file from the very front. I was about to say the 33 and the 20 or the 14, but they were able to clear. So now we have got a freight train going on. Led by Frank Klein, Johnny Evans, Derek Rothling, Colin Peterson, and Byron Gay, your top 5. Frank Klein and Johnny Evans are way out in front of this next group, and you wonder if the 88 is using some brake here and not pushing down the throttle right now, because those two in front are just running away right now, holding down the gas. Are the rest of these guys saving fuel? That is the question. Because there is not much difference between the 14 and the 33 kind of running away, and then you've got a gap back to the 88, the 13, the 11. So what will the 33 and the 14 do? Will they back off that throttle a little bit, knowing that the rest of the field is potentially not going 100% right now? Of course, Derek Rothling being the one that's cutting the air right now, he's going to use more fuel than those guys behind him. We might be getting a little bit of arrow off of the 14 of Johnny Evans up there. But they are now a 1.2 second gap between 88 and 13. And here comes Patrick Day going to the outside, and he's full throttle there. So there is some strategy going on right now. 24 is wanting to push the strategy. He's got Grant Clark there. He's got Paul Negus. He's got teammates there. Now Derek Rothling gets on the throttle as he's seen the 24 moving along. And there goes the 88 to the outside. So it wasn't the fact that they were that much slower. They were purposely doing that. So the question was, why? Are they trying to make this maybe one more stop? It's the only thing that I can think of. But we said we'll show that again. We'll show our race facts here. There it is. 32 to 34 laps is where we got to get to. And so right now, technically, we're looking at making it a one more stop race. They should be good right now. Patrick Day going to the lead here with his teammates, the 06 of Grant Clark and Paul Negus in the 52. Got Bobby Smith there, a lap car, about to go one lap down there, and there he is. Going to lose that lap, being involved in an incident. Byron Gay going to drop to the inside here. Catch the 14. Comes Frank Klein back to the outside, and he's got help with the 14. See, the 33 of the 14 has hooked up quite a bit in this race over the last few laps, so keep an eye on those two. And actually, when they've hooked up, they've actually ran pretty well together. They've worked very well with a two-car tandem, basically. Comes Timmy Lewis to the outside now. First time we've really talked about Timmy Lewis in this one. He helps give that push down that backstretch to excel that outside lane. We've got a third of this race in the books now. And we're either going to see a repeat winner, which was Paul Fly. Got a car that's blowed up on the inside. That's going to be Michael Timmerman. You can see that car was involved in an early accident. He was smoking on the inside. His day is going to be done. BJ Popham's out of this race as well. 4 laps down. Paul Fly's in the pits. Hunter Lagoons. He's out of this one, 3 laps down. Question is, those guys that's out of this race right now, are they getting repairs done to that? Can they get repairs done and get back out there to salvage something? Every spot may be the difference of making the playoffs or not. Buying their time around the speedway right now. Frank Klein leading the way. You got Johnny Evans there in second, and then you get the 88 and the 13 with Byron Gay, Patrick Day, and Chris Miller. As we will have Paul Fly join us in the booth here, as this race is kind of strung out a little bit here. It's not a real tight racing. Looking at what's going on, I know you're out of this race early in on this one, but how disappointing is it first that you're out of it, but how reassuring is it that knowing that you already got the win and you're in the final 8, the round of 8?
Yeah, that definitely helps. It sucks, there was that big one. I dropped to the back to try to avoid it, and then there was just too many cars going all over the place, and unfortunately my teammate Timmy clipped me and kind of ruined the steering, and then all of a sudden Hunter blinked out in front of me, and I didn't even know he was there, and ended up driving through him, so sorry about that. Just unfortunately didn't even see him. And then I was watching the replay on the TV because I have it next to me, and I was just making sure I didn't do anything wrong because it wasn't my intention to just spin somebody, obviously. And hit the wall under yellow, and we're done. But it's just steering damage, so we're thinking that maybe towards the end of this race, if there's a yellow or something, if the teammates need some help, that we'll be able to come back out, we'll be under full power, and maybe help somebody out.
It's the unfortunate side of iRacing that you're going to have versus real world. Real world, you're not going to have a car just completely disappear in front of you. Like iRacing with the internets and everything like that. Yes, he did blink out, and then he just appears at the right time to end up taking you out of this race, which is unfortunate. But are you surprised that we're not seeing these guys as racy right now? Like early, like the first, let's say first 20 laps, like it was 2 wide racing. There was some times where Kyle Wellman got up in there and he put a 3 wide to take to the front, and it got a little racy there. But now we're starting to see people kind of calm down.
Yeah, a little bit surprised. I mean, there's definitely moments where it gets pretty hairy. But yeah, me and Nick went 3 wide too to just go lead a lap to get that extra bonus point, and then kind of drop to the back. But right now, it seems like for the most part, people are staying pretty tame, probably until the till that green flag pit stop cycle, then I think it's gonna start to really pick up the pace a little bit.
We've noticed over the last, let's say 20 laps, maybe 15 laps, that we've noticed the 33 and the 14 has connected bumpers and seem like they're working well together. Was that designed early on, or have they just kind of found themselves out there on the track together?
I have no idea. Frank's not in our Discord, so not too sure. I know Johnny's raced with him in the past, so I'm sure he's comfortable around him and things like that. And they checked out for a little bit. I think they burned up a little bit too much gas going, a second and a half out in front of the field or whatnot. But yeah, I'm sure they'll work well together. And I know Johnny needs to win or wants to win, so he definitely won't be pushing Frank across the line.
So we've seen that Derek Roffling was obviously not going full throttle there, and you've seen those two kind of get out in front. So the thought was saving a little bit of fuel here to make it a one-stop race is the thought here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Obviously, the least amount of time on pit road, the better. Especially here, you just get killed. So and if you're not in a big pack coming out of the pit, if it's just two cars versus a string of 5 or 6, that string of 5 or 6 is going to be well faster than you. So it depends on who you pit with, when you pit with, and hopefully, like you said, it's just a one-stopper. I don't know what Johnny's fuel situation is currently, or Frank's, but I guess we'll find out here in 10 laps or so.
Absolutely. So the last pit stops on these guys, and I'll just bring it up there so that everyone can see. Frank Klein, he last pitted on lap 17. Johnny Evans was on lap 21, so Frank Klein being the one that would need to pit here sooner than later, and he's going to be accompanied by Derek Roffling, Colin Peterson, Byron Gay, Chris Miller. They are all ones that have pitted on lap 17, so they'll be the first ones to pit off of those that have pitted on lap 21. So a little bit of difference there as we've got a 3-wide battle for the lead, as the 8 car on the outside is a lap car here, and he's kind of up there racing with them.
Yeah, it's interesting strategy going by yourself. I know Bobby's down a lap. He's been really, really good about, kind of staying out of our way and letting us race. And at least his truck's back to full strength, so we can at least have some fun and race up front with these guys, even though he's a lap down, but still doing good up there.
Absolutely. It was good to see. It's good. It's always good to see some of these drivers that's not used to running up front. You're starting to see them up front. You got Colin Peterson up here. You got Bobby Smith that was up here. Of course, like you said, he's a lap down. You got Kyle Smith that's been up here occasionally, but not consistently. He's up here running. Earlier on, we've seen some other drivers up here. We've seen Paul Negus up here. We've seen Grant Clark up here. So very, very cool to see some different drivers up front and having a good time.
Yeah, it's always good to see different guys up here. It's always fun to compete with different guys. Obviously, you kind of get used to who you're racing around, so all of a sudden you got somebody different, and you got to kind of adjust to how they're driving and how you want to attack them. At a Superspeedway, obviously, it's a little bit different, but still a challenge in itself to try to navigate around new people that you haven't really been around, and it's good to see some fresh faces up here. I see Logan Coe coming up here now too, and he's been fast at times, but just not super consistent. So it's good to see some fresh faces.
Yeah, as we start to close into the halfway mark here, it's going to be one of those things that we'll start to talk about is, where do you really want to be with, let's say, 10 laps to go? Surely you don't want to be in the lead.
No, not at all. With 10 to go, if you're anywhere from 5th to 10th, you really got a chance. This track's a little bit bigger. You get a little bit bigger runs, especially if you get a group of cars. So normally like 5 to 7 to go is when you start to, if you're back towards 10th, you start to kind of march your way up and fight for position and either drop down or move back up and play with the lines a little bit. But once you hit 10 to go, nobody's really lifting too much anymore too. So you start to get a lot of bumper tag, and that's when cars can get spit out, and it can get very interesting.
Well, it will start to get interesting as we are still 42 laps in of the 100-lap race, and you can see these guys are kind of just buying their time on the inside lane. It's pretty much just a Sunday cruise right now at pretty high speeds, but still a Sunday cruise for these drivers, as Timmy Lewis was able to get some laps led there. Now Frank Klein back to the front. Frank Klein being up front running here, is it surprising? I mean, we've seen it at Daytona that He wanted to run up front a lot, and then I think some incidents happened there late in that one and wasn't able to have the best finish. But it seems like it's a pretty good driver when it comes to super speedways.
Yeah, we'll see how he lasts up here. I know once you get in a pack and aero starts to play a factor, your truck can get sucked around a little bit, and you can start changing lanes by not even realizing that you are. So that kind of happened at Daytona. He was kind of shading up towards Trevor a little bit, and then once you get close to each other, and that sometimes it can just hook the other car, and that can happen at a blink of an eye. The second you're third, fourth, fifth, any of those positions, it can change in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, so we've seen that actually here tonight with the 33, and he just about got into the 13, got up from the bottom lane, got across that first white line, and just about got into the 13. And you say that the trucks really start to get like a little tight or something whenever they're in an aero package.
Yeah, they tend to, and you can, the wheel isn't as steady, if you're out back by yourself and kind of just driving around, your wheel's nice and steady and things like that. And at least the wheel that I have, when you get into the draft and you're really, really close to each other, you can feel the truck kind of move around a little bit with the wheel, and it's just all about trying to keep it as straight as possible wrapped around that yellow line.
We got Kyle Woolman going to try to sneak his way onto the outside here to make it 3 wide on the outside of Timmy Lewis. His teammate being the 4 of Tanner Marr is right behind him, and nothing goes about that as they will tuck back in behind Timmy Lewis as we're a little bit more 2 wide racing up front here. Things dicing up just a little bit.
Yeah, definitely getting closer to green flag pit stops, so people are probably trying to start to jockey for position here, and obviously you want to be one of the first ones in your line in and out of the pits. That always kind of helps set up for that last run. You never want to be the last car in your line, especially if you got teammates, because everybody's got the same agendas at that point. To where if you're the first car in line, you kind of, or the second or third, you can dictate a little bit more than being the 5th or 6th place car in line. So I'm sure a lot of the mind games are trying to be played a little bit right now.
So we have Kyle Woolman that gets to the front, and now we see Ryan Palmer, the highest that he has been today. He's going to be sitting there in that 4th position right behind Frank Klein. So the 10, what's your odds that the 10 is able to get a victory at another restrictor plate track? He won at Daytona. Can he do it again?
He could. This race is, at Daytona there was that wreck out of the backstretch, or out of 2, and it really parted the seas. And then I ended up behind him for that, and then we were lucky enough to link bumpers, and then forgot if he got into somebody or what happened coming out of 4. But I think something happened out of 4 where half of it's luck, but the other half is navigating your way through the muck and getting through all the craziness.
So yes, we are just getting closer and closer to the halfway point, and we're going to start to see pit stops. You would think those that were pitted on lap 21, we said that the fuel run up to about 34 laps off of that, so we are getting closer to that time. We look at the 24, the 18, Paul Negus there in line, the 06, so that's a team there that is all caught up to each other, and they're all sticking together, and kind of seems like that's the way to go. You got to have teammates, and it's one thing that we've seen early in this race. PJ Popham tried to do some things up front and wasn't able to do it. Don't have no friends in this one.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps to have at least 3 guys, maybe 4 guys, if you got friends in here, because that is ultimately what generates runs and what cuts you brakes and things like that. Seems like this race has had some pretty big playoff implications, between Hunter disconnecting. I think Brent Butler's not here, if I'm not mistaken, and obviously PJ going out early too. Those points are going to matter.
Oh man, you're right about that. I tell you what, next week after we get through this one, which we've still got a long ways to go, we cannot look forward to Iowa. But just right now, if we would take a snapshot of where we're at right now in this race, Iowa is going to be very interesting at where that cutoff line of the round of 8 is going to settle. It's going to be wild.
Oh, it's going to be real close. Luckily, I got the luxury of not having to worry about it. I was very worried about it before Texas. We'll see how that line shakes out after tonight and who's where. But I think we're going to have a couple surprise names up in that top 8, and then obviously with the guys either having a poor run to here or not showing up, that's gonna really shake things up too in the point standings.
Yeah, take a look at. We talked about it on the countdown to green. I mentioned it. I picked him to win tonight. Is the 11 of Byron Gay, doing well this season, staying out of trouble. Something that he struggled to do last season, but is able to do it this season. What's the difference in the 11 this year versus last year? How is he staying out of trouble? Is he just more aware of what these drivers are doing?
I think that definitely has a part in it. He hasn't been as aggressive as not saying he was super aggressive, but it seems like he might have been overdriving a little bit just to try to, I don't want to say keep up because he's always been kind of quick, but he was just overdoing it a little bit. He slowed himself down a little bit, and the old saying in racing is the slower the faster with certain cars that I've had in my real life experience. So sometimes if you slow yourself down, you'll be able to actually pick up the pace a little bit.
And don't blink right now, but the 18 is going to lead his first lap of this season. That is Daniel Quigley crossing the line. He will get a lap led in the Tarmac Esports Truck Series. His teammates helping him out there. He's got the 24, the 06, and the 52. How dangerous is that team right there, especially with that 24, Patrick Day?
Yeah, they're going to be good with Patrick leading the way. He's not leading the way right now, but we're kind of leading that charge of the team and, have an understanding of where everything is, where everyone is, and he's got good racing IQ, so he'll be able to kind of guide and assist and tell people when to go, tell people when to slow up, and different things like that too. So I think they'll be quick. They're definitely going to be quick tonight. He's good at kind of getting the band together and getting them all together in line, and they all know each other and can work with each other pretty well.
Yep, and they have cleared the rest of them, and so here they are. They're 1, 2, 3, and 4 right now, and there is a gap back to the next car, which is going to be Ryan Palmer. So at truck, the 8 is a lap down, so you got to take him out of the equation right now, and then it's Ryan Palmer back there. And it goes Timmy Lewis, Kyle Smith, Johnny Evans, Derek Roffling, Colin Peterson rounds out the top 10. So there's getting a little bit of a gap here between the two, and it seems like the 24 and the 18 are okay with pushing the throttle down and really trying to use up some fuel here. As the gap is getting even bigger off of Ryan Palmer. Ryan Palmer leading the way in the second group. That first group, Daniel Quigley, Patrick Day, Grant Clark, the 06, and Paul Negus, they all pit on lap 21, same as those behind them. And they seem to be trying to push. So, Paul, the schedule, when we originally came out with the schedule in the Tarmac Esports Truck Series, we had a road course scheduled in the championship rounds here, and that got taken away. Were you disappointed with that or okay with that decision?
Kind of both. Sorry, I had my mic muted by accident, but yeah, it's okay. I kind of like the road course, shake things up a little bit, get a whole different cream of the crop almost, because some guys aren't good on road courses versus ovals and things like that. I like Daytona's infield. I think it's really fun. We're doing the 24-hour here in a week or two, so or next week actually. So it would have been fun to do another road course. Watkins Glen was fun, so kind of throws a wrinkle in it.
But what do you think about this strategy right here that's going on up front?
Yeah, very, very interesting. Obviously Frank came in by himself, so that changes that one, and then looks like these guys are kind of just pushing together, making sure they stay together, and hopefully can all come together to pit road, so certain people can maneuver. And then when they come out of the pit too, you got the whole contrast of guys coming out versus cars already on the track drafting and things like that. So it'll be real interesting to see how everything shakes out after all the different teams come into pit road here.
And you can see the 18 took the lead away from himself. He says, I'm using up too much fuel here. So they circulate back through, and now Patrick Day gets the lead, and now he's the truck that's running the hardest, and these guys behind him are kind of saving a little bit of fuel. So they're working as a team up here, and their lead continues to grow over Ryan Palmer, Johnny Evans. There's about a second there between them. As you can see that there was green flag pit stops there underway with Johnny Evans, Ryan Palmer, Kyle Smith, Kyle Wellman, so several of them.
Yep, and I just heard over the driver chat that Patrick Day's crew is going to be coming in here. So after they make their pit stops, we'll see if the Rat Bastards can catch on up to them.
Okay, good communication there from you. 24, the 06, 52, they're coming in to see if Frank Klein's going to follow suit. He will not. Looks like everyone gets in pit road just fine. But right now, Kyle Smith, Nick Galusha, Derek Rothling, and Johnny Evans looking to take over the race lead here. See how this all shakes out. All depends on how well the pit stops were here.
Exactly. Pit entrance time and even pit exit time matter crucially here, just because obviously you're on the throttle at all times. So, yeah, we'll see who had the best overall pit stop and see what happens.
You got 6 cars here in the front pack here outside of Patrick Day that is exiting, coming in through turns 1 and 2. As Kyle Smith is entering 1, so it does look like they're probably really going to catch up that gap that they had.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get the gap back, and then I'm going to guess those 4 will probably attach right onto the back, and that'll be our lead pack here.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that was a good pit stop there under green flag. I mean, there were some that struggled through pit stops that has lost the lead pack, but that does not matter in this, as one caution, or we're going to bunch them right back up together. Daniel Quigley's the last car on that lead pack. And then you got the 98 of Logan Coe in the 11th position right now. He is just now crossing the start line. And you can see where the leaders are in turns number 1 and 2. All right, Kyle, or Paul, we're going to let you go. We'll talk to you later on in the show. Good luck to you and the rest of your team.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me. It's been fun kind of watching from up here and just being a part of it. So appreciate it, and good luck with the rest of the broadcast. Hopefully we keep it entertaining for you.
For sure. Single file up front with the 45 of Kyle Smith leading away, with Nick Galusha in second, Derek Rothling running third, Johnny Evans fourth, Kyle Wellman in the 5th position, and Tanner Moore and Patrick Day, Grant Clark, Paul Negus, and Daniel Quigley. So that is a 10-car breakaway up front. As you can see, they're starting to catch Timmy Lewis there. That's the front pack. The next pack back you got led by Logan Coe and Frank Klein on the outside. These guys need to get in line if they're wanting to try to catch that lead pack. I mean, it's tough as it is, as that lead pack has 10 cars and this one has 5 cars. And racing side by side, you're not going to go anywhere. Not going to win a race that way. So will these guys get organized and try to catch the lead pack? Eric Rothling is leading the way. There's your last pit stop. It's on lap 55 for Patrick Day, and Kyle Wellman, Tanner Mars 53. Can they make it the rest of the way? Be a question. You got Kyle Smith and Nick DeLucia that has been able to tag to the back end of this. Back here, they're still not organized. These 5 cars they're racing pretty hard with each other. Now you can look on the relative there and see that Frank Klein is catching that lead pack, but the biggest issue with that is they're using a lot of fuel to do it. This front row up here, they are not full throttle. They are trying to save some so they do not have to pit again. That's why you had Kyle Smith and Nick DeLucia be able to tag on to the end of this lead pack. But Frank Klein back here and the rest of them, they're having to go a little bit harder. There's a snapshot of that lap's speeds. So there, it kind of equalized out to your race leaders at 187 miles an hour. The previous lap before that, you can see Frank Klein was about 4 to 5 miles an hour faster than your front row. So all this lead pack needs to do is figure out where they are safe to make it the rest of the way, and then it's game on. See Paul Fly back out onto the speedway to try to help his teammates out. He has that car fully repaired. Just go back out on the speedway. See if he can help out his teammates. Right now we have 18 cars on the lead lap, and see these guys are starting to Get a little racy up front here, which helps out that second pack of Frank Klein that is leading that way, and they're going to start to close in on these guys. They lap the 10 of Ryan Palmer. Still anything can happen in this one, even though you've got this top group up here. We still have one more pit stop to settle in this one. Potentially, I should say. There was your last lap pit stop. Lap 53. Lap 55. Lap 53, man. You're getting really close. You would have had to save some fuel to be able to make it the rest of the way. But why I say potentially is, well, we'll still have not seen the big one. Question is, when does the big one happen? On the heels of the 18, going to try to push him back to the front. The lead lap cars have picked up the pace. They are no longer at half throttle, and how you know that is you take a look at the 11th position, Frank Klein. They are falling behind. They are falling behind from the lead pack. Now 6.7. They were within 3 seconds. That was the difference. So I believe this front pack believes that they have enough fuel to go to the end. So if we look at it right now, you've got Johnny Evans playoff, Kyle Wellman a playoff driver, Patrick Day is a playoff driver, Nick DeLucia is a playoff driver. That is it. We only have 4 drivers that are in the playoffs, that are inside this top group of cars. 4 out of the 12. That's quite amazing, really. You can see Paul Fly has got to the back of this and is able to help out a teammate of Nick DeLucia. You've got Timmy Lewis that's up here too. He's a playoff driver, but he is a lap down. So he does come into play to help out Nick DeLucia, though. Or even Ryan Palmer. Although Ryan Palmer is also a lap down. As they are closing in to lap the 11 of Byron Gay. They will go to the outside of the 11. 11's going to have to find a place in there, as he's going to have to race his way in front of some of these guys if he's going to be able to potentially get back on the lead lap, and he's going to fight with Ryan Palmer for that position right now. Ryan Palmer on the outside of him, so they're like side by side right now. So I think the 11 knows that. They'll have to stay in front of the 10 if a caution flag flies. They're about to catch another car and lapped him down. That's going to be the 02 of Steve Miller that is already 1 lap down, so that one's not going to come so much into question for Byron Gay. See, Ryan Palmer able to get to the outside and took it momentarily, so that is a race to watch. The 10 and the 11 right now to get their lap back if a caution flag flies. That is a pretty important position to be in. You get your lap back, then you have a chance to win this thing. If you're a lap down, you have no chance. And how these guys got a lap down is mistakes on pit road. That's why it's so important to practice those green flag pit stops, especially with the group. Kyle Woolman in a really good position right now, running in that second position right behind Johnny Evans. He's got help by a teammate of the 4 of Tanner Marr. Although not a teammate, the 88, they have worked a lot together in recent races, especially restrictor plate racing. Last year, worked together a lot. Been a while since we've seen a caution. That happened on lap 20 of this race, and so we've been green flag for the rest of it. We're going to get on board with the 24, pushing the 18 here. See how the runs come and go. See Patrick Day having to lift. He'll regather that momentum and try to work back towards the front. See that momentum builds. At the line this time by, we're going to have about 25 laps to go, so we are 3/4 of the way through this race, close to the end of this one. Sitting really pretty on that outside lane, going to be the 18 of Paul Negus, 18 of Daniel Quigley, in the 24 Patrick Day, the 06 of Greg Clark, and Paul Negus in the 52. 4 teammates on the outside lane, working well together. Frank Klein, Colin Peterson, Logan Coe, Chris Miller, as they have completely lost the draft, and they are going to need a caution. It's going to have to come from this top group up here. Will they make a mistake? Could this thing go green the rest of the way? So a good group of trucks up here. Good amount of trucks up here. Some of them's a lap down, and that is the 10 of Ryan Palmer, the 11 of Byron Gay. You also have Timmy Lewis that's a lap down. Paul Fly's back here on the back side. He's on the top side right now. Last car on the top side. 0-2, Steve Miller has got to the back end of this group. We're coming up to 20 laps to go here. I think the big question is, do these guys have enough fuel to go the rest of the way? I mean, they were saving fuel early in that run. That's why that second group was able to catch. Do they have enough? Did the calculations work out right? So take a look at some of the playoff guys and having some big time trouble tonight. PJ Popham's going to come home dead last in this thing. 24th. He's a playoff driver that is currently inside the top 8. Hunter Lagoons, 23rd. Not looking so good for him. Paul Fly, he's already got a win, but he scored in 21st position. Sean Smith, he was a playoff driver that is having a bad outing as well. He has scored 19th. Timmy Lewis, a playoff driver, has scored 17th. Byron Gay, 16th. Ryan Palmer, 15th. Here's some drivers that, as you can see, these guys are coming into the pits as pit stops are underway with Kyle Wellman, Tanner Marr, and Derek Ruffling. So single car race up front, just single file now. Daniel Quigley, the 24, Patrick Day, Grant Clark in third, and Paul Neggets. That top 3, it's all teammates working together. When will this group decide to come in to get a splash of fuel to make it to the rest of the way? See those guys leaving pit road down there on the inside. Logan Coe, Colin Peterson. Got Johnny Evans, he's a playoff driver, so we take a look at these playoff drivers inside this top group here right now that is in position. You got Patrick Day running second, Johnny Evans there running in the 5th position, and Nick Galusha in the 7th position right now. Kyle Wellman in the 10th position. Missed last week on the opening round of the playoffs, really needing a good finish or even a win to make it into the round of 8. There in the 42, working with his teammate, the 4, Tanner Moore, and not a teammate of his, the 88, but they've always worked together in restrictor plate racing. That's the 88 of Derek Rothman. Here is your biggest movers in today's race. Grant Clark up 18 spots in this race with his teammate Patrick Day up 15. Another teammate of Paul Negus up 14. See, the other one's dipping into pit lane. That is Johnny Evans, Nick Galusha, Kyle Smith, Brian Palmer, also Byron Gay and Timmy Lewis. So unbelievable, we've only seen 2 cautions in this entire race. That one came on lap 17, and then right on that restart, on that second restart there on lap 20. From then, we've seen a green flag pit stop. Now we're in our second phase of green flag pit stops. So really good job by these drivers being able to race around Talladega at high speeds with very limited cautions. It's caused things to really spread out, which has created a race that is more of a challenge here, as it's a matter of, can you get in pit road and out of pit road with your teammates fast enough to not lose the main draft, as several of those drivers have done that. That is Colin Peterson, Chris Miller, Frank Klein, Byron Gay, Timmy Lewis, Ryan Palmer. Some of those drivers were inside the main group, the lead pack. After green flag pit stops, they fell out of that. And now we have another green flag pit stops. Where are drivers going to fall? Here they go. Here's your leaders going to stop here. Paul Negus, 24, Patrick Day, the 06 of Grant Clark, 52 of Paul Negus. They're in. So here he is, who could potentially take over the race lead. Depends all about how they get in pit and out of pit. The top 4 there. You got Tanner Moore, Kyle Wellman, Derek Rothling, Nick Galusha. All right here. '24 is exiting pit road. Here they are. And here is your race leaders coming. It looks like it's probably going to cycle through, and they're all going to be within the draft together. So no one really making any kind of big-time mistakes on pit road. Can Paul Negus be able to tag into the backside of this is the big question. He was the slowest off pit road, which he was the last one off pit road of his teammates of the top 4. So there you have it. Tanner Moore going to take over the race lead. Kyle Wellman in second and Derek Rothling in the 3rd position. We take a look at this top 4, and none of these top 4 drivers have won a race in the Tarmac Esports Truck Series this year. All of them very capable of doing that, but has not been able to get it done. A lot of highly talented race car drivers we have out here. See the 42 ride on the back bumper of his teammate, the 4 of Tanner Moore. Things will start to heat up here as we are closing in on the 10 to go. Ever so close. Hey, if you're over on the YouTube channel, thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate you tuning in all season long for the Tarmac Esports Truck Series. We had 10 regular season races. This is now our second playoff race. And we'll have 3 races in the round of 12. Top 8 will advance, and then we will have 2 races in the round of 8. And then our final race, the round of 4, we'll settle that one at Phoenix. And that will conclude Season 2 of the Tarmac Esports Truck Series, and then we will be back again for Season 3, the Tarmac Esports Truck Series, in October of 2025. So every year, we have these go on. So if it's your first time watching and you're wanting in on this, definitely need to check out Miller Time Motorsports, as they are the Premier League for our Tarmac Esports Truck Series. Right now, you got Nick Galusha leading the way. He's being pushed by the 41 that is actually a lap car right now, but is a teammate of Nick Galusha. So that helps out tremendously, having a teammate up here. Again, this broadcast is brought to you by John Betlam Heating and Cooling and also Game Day Rally Gear at GameDayRallyGear.com. If it wasn't for those 2 sponsors, we probably would not be broadcasting this race to you all today. As a reminder, these drivers are racing for the cash prize of that championship at the end of the year. That is so close. We'll be here before we know it. Patrick Day on the outside. He's got the 11 of Byron Gay. Byron Gay also a lap vehicle or a lap truck, and he is a playoff driver. And right now he's just trying to keep himself up towards the front here, maybe get a caution and then get himself on the lead lap. Ryan Palmer getting lapped here, and oh, there's the wreck! There's the wreck! Oh, and a truck about went upside down right when we started to get to another lap car. That was Ryan Palmer there. A truck goes around, and we are under caution. Caution flag flies on lap 91. Grant Clark about went upside down there. Involved Tanner Moore, Grant Clark. As we will take a look at what happened. Here's a look with Grant Clark. Good job by the 18 not getting into the 06 there. There's a wider view with the chopper cam here with Grant Clark. Looked like maybe the 42 just barely got into the rear bumper of the truck on the outside there. That was Tanner Moore, actually a teammate of his. And around went Tanner Moore. Another look with Grant Clark here. Like to go inboard with the 18 machine if we can here. This is Grant Clark inboard on him. And this is a view of the 18. Good job. Good job missing that. The 18. So we are under caution. Things are going to get heated when we come back here at Talladega here in just a few moments.
When it comes to heating and cooling, at John Betlam, we promise to take the utmost care. We'll make sure your repair's done right and any new installation is perfect. It's how we've done business since 1941. Our customers, you, are our priority. And when you need us, we're ready to help. It's our promise. So that's why there's something important that you should know. Did you know there are 2 heating and cooling companies here in Rochester that share a similar name? Betlam. And that's confusing. So make sure when you search for us online, you look for John Betlam. It's easy to confuse, so whenever you need us, be sure to search for and call John Betlam. Because it's my grandfather, John Betlam, who taught us to work hard, do a great job, and take care of all of our customers. And of course, there's only one phone number you'll ever need to remember.
Call 271-8888. John Betlam Heating and Cooling.
All right, welcome back to Talladega for the Tarmac Esports Truck Series. And it's been a good one for race number 2 in the first round of the playoffs. Your top 8 will advance. We got one more race after this to settle it. We do see our 3rd caution flag fly in this one. So it is going to bunch everything back up for these drivers. Some like it, some don't. Tanner Moore being involved in a wreck there does not like that one. But the 88 is leading the way right now, and you've got the 20 of Nick Galusha on his outside. Both of those drivers have not seen a win in the Tarmac Esports Truck Series. They're looking for their first tonight here at Talladega. You got the 24 of Patrick Day. He is a 2-time winner in this series. He's looking to advance into the round of 8 with a win, and he's in. Kyle Wellman back here. Paul Negus, Daniel Quigley, Kyle Smith, Chris Miller. So these guys that were on jeopardy of losing a lap because of not having great pit stops during green flags, they're back in the race of this. So the 69 of Chris Miller, a good restrictor plate racer, he is back in contention of this one. Johnny Evans there. You got Frank Klein back in the mix of this thing. Frank Klein was actually leading a lot of this race before green flag pit stop. So will he find his way back to the front? Johnny Evans there, 14. You got Grant Clark back after he didn't hit anything. He about went over, but makes service to that, and he is back out. Timmy Lewis back there, and Tanner Marr has gotten repairs done. Looks like maybe a little bit of damage still left on the front end of that thing. We'll see if that thing can hold draft. You also got the 11 of Byron Gay back here. Logan Coe. Still Byron Gay, Logan Coe still a lap down, which hurts them. They're hoping for maybe another caution here. And there very well could be. So when we get back going, we will have just 5 more laps around Talladega. And we have yet seen the big one. Now that things have stacked back up, we have not seen this pack racing since really early in on this race when we seen our last caution on lap 20. This caution flag flies on lap 91. It's time to get back down and dirty here at Talladega. Lights are out on the iRacing pace car. It's going to go down pit road. It's going to be on the command of that 88 in the Geico restart zone.
Green flag, green flag.
Derek Roffling, the 88, jumps out to the early lead there. Got Nick Galusha right behind him, and then Kyle Wellman on the outside. Kyle Wellman being here in contention late in this race, that is a threat. But 42 could very well get this win here and lock himself into the playoffs. Patrick Day jumps out in front of the 42. Patrick Day, the 24, is a two-time winner in the series. Get a win, you're into the round of 8. The only person that can say that they're 100% locked is Paul Fly, and he is thankful for that as he got involved in an early accident that took him out of this one. He's out there helping with his teammates, though, right now, laps and laps down. See, Patrick Day goes to the front there, gets by the 88. It's 69 of Chris Miller. He said he wasn't holding anything back in the Countdown to Green show. He said, I am going for the win. It don't matter. I don't care if there are playoff drivers around me. I am going for the win. .42 locked bumpers with the 24. Trying to push him to the outside here of the 88. Question is, when's that run going to come on the 24? And there it is. There's the run. That was a great move by the 42 to the inside. And he will get out in front of the 24. And now he's hooked up with the 88. And we've seen those two hooked up in previous restrictor plate races, and they work well together. And there we go. We got a big one.
All right, man. Caution
We got
down.
trucks that's
Caution
upside down on the backstretch. Trucks going around. That's going to take several drivers out of that one. Daniel Quigley involved. Sean Smith. Johnny Evans, a playoff driver involved. Sean Smith was a playoff driver as well. We've got some things to sort out in this one. Big time wreck on the backstretch. Going to take out a lot of the field. That was the big one we said that was going to come, and it did. And now we're going to have to settle for a green-white checkered here. Oh, man. Kyle Wellman leading the way. Derek Roffling and Patrick Day, your top three. Let's take a look at what happened. We'll get our furthest camera out with our camera shot from our chopper view. Here it is. Man, oh man. Everyone's buying for the same space, and that space filled up pretty quickly, and here's another look at it. I tell you, look at, let's take a couple more looks at this in some different angles here. Well, boy, I tell you what, Frank Klein got really lucky there to get through that. We'll try to take a look at that one with Frank Klein. Boy, oh boy, did that just open up for Frank Klein. He was just kind of right in the middle of it and drove right through that accident. Let's take another look here, if we can. And we'll go with Grant Clark on this one. Here's Grant Clark. Sees the wreck, goes clear to the bottom. Misses it all. Also, Chris Miller. Chris Miller kind of lucky here. Little touch. Probably thought his race was over there. But he's still alive in this one. See if we can get a word with Chris Miller there. Chris Miller got lucky there. That was the big one. And it about collected you. Were you scared?
Yeah, I seen him coming from the left side, and I thought, well, this is it. And I don't know how I really got by it. I don't know if I just straightened out that car that come up and hit me in the door or what, but I don't think I have a whole lot of damage. I think we're good to go here. I did get a 4X out of it when the collision happened there, but we're starting third back in the inside line, so I feel pretty good.
All right, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Green-white checker finish here. Go get him.
All right, thank you.
It's exactly what we want. Is something like this to happen. And we're going to talk to Byron Gay now. Byron Gay had some problems during green flag pit stops. Here we are at the end of this one, in contention now to potentially do something. What are you going to do?
Find as many holes as I can. That's just going to be drive through as fast as I can, get to the front, try to find a teammate and go.
Well, that caution probably saved you a lot in points, as now you potentially you're on the lead lap. Now we can go for something here. So we'll see what happens in the 11 machine. Good luck.
Thanks.
We don't have audio on Frank Klein. Been a good one to talk to him. Just barely missed that accident. Grant Clark goes up in the air and he gets serviced and comes right back out here. Like I said, those spins like that, they've lifted up in the air, they came back down, and they haven't like rolled or anything. And then nobody touches them, you're fine. You're good. Go in, get some fresh tires, and you're right back out there. It's amazing. So there you got the 06 still there. Doesn't have any damage at all to the spoiler. We'll see here. His lights are out on the iRacing Pace truck. Hold on, folks. We're not done yet here at Talladega. Both these guys on the front row are still looking for their first win on the season for the Tarmac Esports Truck Series. Does either one of them get it? Does either one of those trucks on that front row even finish inside the top 5? Oh, man. A lot to sort out here as we get ready to go green flag once again here at Talladega. It's been a fun one, folks. Thank you for tuning in over on YouTube. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit the follow button. Follow us the rest of the way through the playoffs. As anybody's race to be had here, the 42, the 8, the 24, the 20, the 69, the 33, the 13, the 06, the 41. A lot of guys back on a lead lap here. The green, white, checker finish here.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is in the air. Top row is organized. The bottom row is not organized. So I'd say out of turns 2 here, you're going to see that 88, the 20, and the 33 have a head of steam coming down the backstretch. Oh, and that the 42 goes up to the top and he causes a wreck. Oh no!
All right, man.
42 went up to block, not able to make that move. It was a late move to the outside. The 42 goes around, collects the 88, and we're under caution flag again. Patrick Day will be your race leader. Chris Miller in second. Wow. We knew there was going to be a big run coming from the 88 on the outside, and that's exactly what happened. The 42 went up to block, and it was just a little bit too late. The 88 wasn't able to get off the throttle, and that got the 42 loose. Wasn't able to hold it. And the white flag is going to come out. And I think that was the last attempt at a green-white checkered. I'm pretty sure of it. So I think Patrick Day is going to win this thing. Nick DeLucia, Chris Miller, we'll have to see exactly. But I'm going to say that I'm thinking that that was it. The 42 jumped to the outside and tried to block the momentum from the 88. Was not able to get out there quick enough. And that one hurts a lot for both of those drivers up front. As iRacing has gave us the white flag, as this will conclude this race. Patrick Day, Nick Galusha, Chris Miller, top 3 finishers. Wow. Wish we would have made it to the end there. Not able to do it, but Patrick Day is going to secure himself a spot in the final 8. The 24, Patrick Day, comes home victorious here at Talladega. Nick Galusha has a great run in the 20 machine. Come home here in the 2nd position. Chris Miller, great finish. One of his best finishes of the year in that 3rd position. Frank Klein finishes 4th. Colin Peterson, good finish for him in the 5th position. We're going to try to take a look at that last wreck there with the 42 and the 88. Kyle Wellman. Here it is. Wellman was sideways here. Try to back her up here just a little bit for you guys so we can get a good shot here. Here it is. Tries to go to the top, and it was just too late. It was too late for the 88 to react to it. And around he goes. 06 involved. We'll take another look at that with Derek Groffling. Take another look at this here. This is just, it was unfortunate. Just there was a big run here on the outside. They were formed on the start. The 42 sees it and tries to jump up, and it's just too late. Too late, and around the 42 goes. And a chance of a playoffs is going to come down for the 42 at Iowa. He's going to have to win at Iowa to get in. As that's how it's going to finish with the 24 getting a victory. We'll be right back with your top 3 finishers here after this quick commercial break. All right, welcome back, race fans, and you just seen it. You seen that the 24 was victorious just by a nose, really, by Nick Galusha to get the win there as the caution flag flies on the backstretch, and we end under caution here. But our 3rd place finisher tonight, that's Chris Miller in the 69, brings it home in the 3rd position. Hey, Chris, I think me and you both predicted that this would happen. Maybe not in this fashion, but you come home 3rd. What's it feel like?
Good, very good. In the middle of the race there, when we went under that green flag pit stop, we fell back up the lead pack, and there was a string of 5 of us, but we just couldn't catch up, and I was wondering if my chances were over, and we ended up getting those late yellows, and it put me back up there in the lead pack there, and we were starting 3rd on the inside there. I was hoping it would go all the way. I think we had it. I'm not saying we won it, but I'm just saying we had the car to possibly get it. But man, I got to say thanks to Frank Klein in the middle of that race. He was pushing me. I mean, really good up until that last caution, and then here coming to the finish, we were able to keep it clean as far as everybody behind us still kind of got taken out.
Well, that was fun. We figured that the 88 was going to have a huge run on the top side. Is exactly what happened. And then the 42 tried to go up for that block just a little bit too late. And just no way that the 88 was going to stop that kind of momentum. And that's what collected everybody. But you was able to miss it. You come home third. It's a good momentum thing. I mean, you're not in the playoffs, but it still has to feel good to finish third here at Talladega. It's always good to watch Chris Miller here at the restrictor plates, always coming in clutch. And here he is, coming in clutch in the third position. Congratulations on that finish.
Thank you, Ray.
All right, we're going to talk to your second place finisher tonight, and that's Nick Galusha in the 20 machine. He comes home in the second position. Nick it has to feel really good, especially after last week and all the drama that came around your name, Nick Galusha in the 20. Now you sit yourself here on the podium spot in that second position. How's that feel?
Yeah, it feels good, but I really wanted that one. After all the shenanigans there last week, I really wanted this one and just be locked into the next round. So I'll be still battling with points next week. So I know Iowa's next week, so it should be a fun one.
It was just unfortunate there, it looked like the 42 decided to go to the top side to try to block that run, because on that restart, the outside line, they was organized. The inside line, not so much. So that outside line had some big-time momentum coming that way, and, well, there's just not much you can do. You get off the throttle whenever you have that much momentum coming, and, well, you missed the accident. You come home in the second position, helps in points. So, yes, you still do have some work to do next week at Iowa, but, hey, it's got to feel good having some momentum on your side. He is Nick Galusha, your last year's champion, Season 1. Can he do it again in Season 2? He's got to race his way in next week at Iowa. Congratulations again on that second place finish.
Thanks, man.
All right, we're going to talk to your race winner in this one. That is 24 Patrick Day. It's no stranger to victory lane. Now a 3-time winner in the Tarmac Esports Truck Series, the 24 Patrick Day. How's it feel?
It feels great. Actually was not anticipating this. Was not anticipating running up in front as much as we did, right? But the team, we went in early, got gas. We had more fuel than those guys up front. And, after that green flag stop, we noticed that they were kind of going a little slower to try to save gas. And we were like, we're good for one more stop to make it to the end. So that's when we started pushing on the outside and got them to start using some fuel. So we thought that by doing that, making them pit a little earlier than us at that last pit stop, they were going to be tight on fuel, making it to the end, and especially to a green-white checker where we knew we were good. But yeah, strategy worked out. The guys worked really good. When we got there towards the end, I kind of left my guys there at one time when I pulled up in front of Byron on the outside run, and I apologized to him for that. But at that point, your team orders kind of go out the window, and you're getting up there to try to get the best position you can. So, too bad for Kyle. He was running good. I was pushing good all race, right? So I guess he didn't see that during the race, that how well I was pushing guys, because he just should have stayed there. He needed a good finish tonight, right? Unfortunate for him, he timed that just a little bit late going up there.
Yeah, very shocking to see him jump out to the outside. We talked about it there at the end, that the outside lane got organized very early on that restart. The bottom lane was not so organized. And that was a huge momentum run coming out of turns 2. And there's just no way that the 88 was able to hold up on that as the 42 jumps to the outside. But yeah, very shocking to see him jump out to the outside to try to block that run. Not sure that would have even helped him out in that situation. But hey, it works in your favor that he did do that, and you came out with the lead there. You just beating out Nick Galusha here in the 20 machine. Nick said that he really wanted this one. He really wanted it. So unfortunate for him after all the drama from last week carrying over into this week. He comes home second, so he has to feel pretty good about that. But hey, you've locked yourself in now to the round of 8, and you're the first driver to win 3 races in this season. I mean, that in itself has to speak a lot, because there's a lot of talent out here.
There is a lot of talent, and yeah, Nick, great run. I barely beat him there when that caution came out, but yeah, great run by Nick. He really needed this. He needs to save his tires next week at Iowa, so hopefully he figures something out between now and then. But yeah, 3 wins this series. I wasn't anticipating that. I was anticipating being in the top 5 in the leader standings there, but 3 wins on the season, and then I'm coming to a real strong track next week. So who knows? Now that I got the win under my belt and I'm into 8, right? I still need the points, right? I need a buffer to make sure I get into that round of 4. But I might be pushing some guys here next week and making them run pretty hard. We'll see. It's going to be fun. Great race tonight. Great race by everybody. A lot of give and take early. Mid race was awesome with the green flag stops. Too bad we had to go green white checker there, but it was exciting. It was fun.
Absolutely. There you have it from the 24, Patrick Day. That's how we're going to end this show. Congratulations, Patrick, once again on the victory. We'll see you there at Iowa, where Iowa, a good track for the 24. Maybe we find him in victory lane once again. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate the broadcast. Thanks for all the viewers coming out.
All right, and that's all we've got for you here. Thank you for tuning in to the Tarmac Esports, and this is a production of the Tarmac Esports Truck Series. Thank you for watching over on the YouTube. Have a good night.